Chapter 1331. Ball Number 2. Lin Feng took out the ball and handed it to Yu Luan Saint. Yu Hu, who had been waiting aside, suddenly changed his expression. His eyes shone brightly as he stared straight at Lin Feng. He was the number 2 seed. The 100 Saints Martial Hall was in despair. They had been hoping that 2 of them would enter the top 3, but now their hopes were completely dashed. They didn't expect that the top 6 would be a fight between their own people. But in fact, it didn't make much of a difference to Yu Hu and Lin Feng. After all, it was a personal battle. It's him. Yu Hu was a little uneasy. He was confident that he would be matched with Qianshan Han Ho or Xiaoyitan, but he couldn't predict Lin Feng's strength. Especially Lin Feng's illusory techniques, which he was most wary of. He had seen the video of Lin Feng killing Hongyan Huang. Although Lin Feng's body and saber technique were both strong, Yu Hu knew that Lin Feng had killed Hongyan Huang with his terrifying illusion. However, he couldn't see the real face of the illusion in the video. "You're very unlucky." Yu Hu walked past Lin Feng and said. There was a hint of contempt in his arrogant head, but he wanted to put some pressure on Lin Feng. Lin Feng was slightly startled. He smiled and felt relieved. It seemed that Yu Hu was very dissatisfied with the draw. "But I'm indeed unlucky." Lin Feng wanted to be matched with Prince Yushu to wash away his defeat in the top 100, but he didn't get what he wanted. However, it was a good draw to be matched with Yu Hu. At least, he would be able to enter the top 3. In terms of combat strength, Yu Hu might be stronger than Prince Yushu, but it might not be the case if he counted the chaotic whole dark treasure. He was not afraid of pure combat strength, because he was stronger. Xiaoyitan is so unlucky to have drawn Qin Qing. There's no hope at all. That goes without saying. Don't you know that the odds of Qin Qing, winning the Dongwang lottery, have dropped to 1.03? I bet on Prince Yushu and Yu Hu. Their odds are about the same, 7, 9 and 7, 8 respectively. As long as I win one of them, I will make a fortune. Thanks to Qin Qing, she raised the odds of the others so high. Actually, Lin Feng's odds have increased the most. It's already 115. What's the big deal? Lin Feng's odds for winning the championship were 1-16 at the very beginning. It's just been restored now. Yes, he has at least a 10 to 20% chance of winning against Yu Hu. Everyone was in high spirit. After entering the top 6, every match was more exciting. Watching one match meant one less match. None of the warriors who entered the top 6 were weak. They were all the top silver core geniuses of the Dongwang Empire. In the first round, the number 1 seed, Qin Qing was up against Xiaoyishang. Xiaoyitang from the Myriad Demons Temple, ranked as the king of the arena. His strength was not bad, but he was the one with the lowest odds among the 6. In fact, he was also the weakest. In the face of Qin Qing's amazing swordsmanship, he was quickly defeated. Xiaoyitang's face was full of disappointment. He covered his injured shoulder without saying a word and walked out of the arena silently. The audience around him applauded to show their encouragement. There is a big gap. Lin Feng watched the whole match. Xiaoyitang had no chance of winning. No matter how strong his fighting spirit was, the gap between their strength was like a chasm. It was not that he was weak, but that Qin Qing was too strong. Qin Qing may not even have used 30% of her strength. Lin Feng's eyes fell on Qin Qing. She looked at him with her beautiful eyes and nodded with a smile. Lin Feng gave her a thumbs up. He had a good impression of Qin Qing. At least she was not an arrogant and self-righteous girl. Now, it's my turn. Hearing the voice of Saint Yu Luan, Lin Feng jumped onto the arena. In the distance, Yu Hu had been waiting for a long time. He looked straight at Yi Futian with a pair of sharp eyes, like a tiger out of the cage. Lin Feng smiled and nodded to Yu Hu, then closed his eyes and adjusted his breathing. Although he was confident, he could not underestimate Yu Hu. Yu Hu's strength was on par with Prince Yushu. It would not be easy to defeat him. The second round of the top 6, Lin Feng from the 100 Saints Martial Palace versus Yu Hu from the 100 Saints Martial Palace. Saint Yu Luan's voice suddenly sounded. Not far away, monarch Qin Wushou looked over with interest. In thousands of eras, the only one to kill a chaos beast in the preliminaries. Qin Wushou rubbed his thumb ring. Lin Feng's talent is comparable to Qin Qing-er's? Qin Wushou was very interested. This time, he came to see Qin Qing-er and Lin Feng. Begin. With Saint Yu Luan's shout, the battle instantly exploded. Under the gaze of many pairs of eyes, Yu Hu began to attack fiercely. Chi. Clang. His sword light streaked across the sky like a full moon. With his peak tenfold sword heart, he was invincible among the silver core level. The sword in his hand was also a powerful chaos dark treasure that was not weaker than Lin Feng's 7 blue battle blade. He, Yu Hu, was the most talented expert of the 100 Saints Martial Palace. Yu Hu's sword was filled with confidence. But as Lin Feng pulled out the blade, Yu Hu's expression changed dramatically once the battle began. His saber heart? Yu Hu did not expect this. In the video of him killing the beautiful great desolate dragon, Lin Feng's saber heart and saber intent were far inferior. Even if he had comprehended a bit of the saber heavenly way, Yu Hu was confident that he could block it. But now it was completely different. The first move of the Thunder Beast saber technique, Thunder Beast Claw. Lin Feng's saber technique had transformed. With a tenfold saber heart and a trace of the saber heavenly way, it was enough to defeat an 11-fold saber heart. Although the Thunder Beast saber technique was not enhanced by the profound intent of origin, it was still quite powerful when used with soul power. Most importantly, Lin Feng's Thunder Beast saber technique's intent realm was already natural. In the past 5 years, Lin Feng had not improved at all. His control of intent realm, saber technique, and comprehension of the Thunder Beast's divine essence, every effort had its rewards. How can this be? The more Yu Hu fought, the more shocked he became. His expression turned ugly. The battle had deviated from his expected trajectory since the beginning. Lin Feng's strength made him tremble in fear, and his sword technique became more and more chaotic. Because of this, Lin Feng's strength was already a notch higher, and his advantage became even greater. Qin Wushou shook his head. This child's psychological quality is too weak. It's fine if he meets someone weaker than him, but if he meets someone stronger than him, he will shrink back. It will be difficult for him to achieve great things. As the monarch, Qin Wushou had seen countless geniuses. Talent was indeed important, but there were many things more important than talent. For example, the cultivation of the heart, personality, and so on. Genius was not only a compliment, but also a derogatory term. This was because many geniuses lacked the tempering of real blood. Lin Feng won. Qin Wushou's eyes flashed. In the arena, Yu Hu, who was completely at a disadvantage, lost more and more confidence. Facing the unstoppable Lin Feng, he lost in less than 7 moves, vomiting blood and fainting. Lin Feng wins. Yu Luan Saint announced the result. Chapter 1332. Yu Hu is too weak. How unlucky. Why did I bet on this guy? What a loss. That means he's the second seed? He's too weak. He couldn't even fight back against Lin Feng. What a shame. He lost even more badly than Xiao Yishou. Yu Hu's face was ashen, and he looked terrible. His bold words had become a joke. Everyone looked at him. Yu Hu lowered his head and left the arena with a straight face. The audience burst into laughter. Looking at Yu Hu's back, Lin Feng shook his head. He knew it. Yu Hu did not use his full strength. The battle was very brutal. Some people were able to unleash 100% of their strength, while others were able to unleash 120% or even 150% of their strength. Brave Surge, on the other hand, was able to unleash only 50%, 30%, or even less due to the fear of facing pressure. Nice win, Prince Yu Shu congratulated with a smile. I was lucky, Lin Feng said humbly. Prince Yu Shu looked in the direction Yu Hu left and said, actually, it's not a bad thing for him to lose. Lin Feng nodded. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that his victory was not as good as it seemed. He could tell from the audience's voices. They don't understand. Prince Yu Shu smiled and pointed at the audience. His eyes flashed with wisdom. Even if Yu Hu used all his strength, he would not be your match. Maybe I am too. Prince Yu Shu laughed and did not wait for Lin Feng to answer. It's my turn. Wish me luck. Then, he turned around and leaped onto the arena. Lin Feng smiled. Prince Yu Shu was very interesting and had a good demeanor. Of course, his strength was not bad either. Compared to Yu Hu, Prince Yu Shu's talent was a little less, but his temperament and ability were better than Yu Hu's in all aspects. Qianshan Hanqiao is no match for Prince Yu Shu, Lin Feng said. He knew Qianshan Hanqiao's strength very well. If he did not give up in the top 10, he would have won. As expected, even though Qianshan Han tried his best, he still lost to Prince Yu Shu and did not enter the top 3. Let us congratulate Qin Qing Lin Feng and Qin Yu Shu for successfully making it into the top 3. Yu Luan Saint announced the results with an excited voice. The audience applauded enthusiastically, and shouts filled the sky. In particular, Qin Qing support rate was overwhelmingly higher than Lin Feng's and Qin Yu Shu's. Prince Yu Shu looked over helplessly. Lin Feng smiled casually. 5 years later, there will be a ranking competition for the 4th to 6th place. Yu Luan Saint immediately announced the time of the next round of the Dongwang Genius Battle. Brother Lin, we'll meet again in the top 3 battle 10 years from now. Prince Yu Shu smiled and walked over. I'm not as easy to deal with as Yu Hu. Lin Feng smiled. I'm looking forward to that day. Me too. Prince Yu Shu reached out and bumped their fist. Friendship was built through fighting. 10 years was just the blink of an eye for a cosmic system state who had a lifespan measured in epoch. After one cultivation session, it might already be gone. Back at the Crane Saint Planet number 5, the entire planet was empty. Lin Feng felt a little uneasy. He had a feeling that something would happen to Senior Sister, but it was just a feeling. Senior Sister should be fine with Master around, right? Lin Feng said softly. However, anything could happen in the ancient 1,000-world secret realm. Temple Master Yu 1, and the others will have to depend on their luck. Lin Feng understood that masters usually taught their disciples, but the temple masters were different. They had to go on their own to have a chance. Unlike the disciples of the saints, many of them were only there to hone themselves. Less than 20% chance of survival. That's really low. Lin Feng shook his head. This was the ratio of all the Silver Heart level experts. However, the strength of the Silver Heart level experts varied. Some were very strong, and some might have just entered the Silver Heart level. The Temple Masters were also the best among the Silver Heart level experts. After all, they were the Temple Masters of the 100 Saints' Martial Palace. Even so, the chance of survival was still not high. In the ancient 1,000-world secret realm, the difference in strength of the Silver Heart level doesn't have much effect. Lin Feng understood that it was a place where even saints could die. In terms of survival ability, saints were obviously much stronger. If they encountered danger, they could use teleportation to escape immediately, but Silver Heart experts couldn't do it. The ancient 1,000-world secret realm usually opens in about 100 years or at least a few decades. Master and the others shouldn't have come out so early. Lin Feng thought. Although Master could teleport, he couldn't go very deep and teleport out. Usually, the treasures and opportunities were in the depths of the ancient 1,000-world secret realm. The deeper one went, the fewer people there were, and the better the treasures. Forget it. Let's not think so much. Lin Feng shook his head. The 7 blue battle sword in his hand flashed with lightning, reflecting the Thunder Beast statue. Lin Feng's eyes shone brighter. 10 years. He had 10 years to catch up with Qin Qing. The third strike. Lin Feng held the sword tightly and was ready to fight. As long as I can comprehend the third strike, I have a chance to defeat Qin Qing. There must be hope. He wouldn't turn back until he hit the wall. Lin Feng had absolute confidence in his sword skills. There were very few people in the entire Milky Way who could comprehend the heavenly Tao of Saber at the silver core level. As for him, he had comprehended it when he was at the silver core level. Usually, it meant that the more talented they were. Capital of the Empire, royal family. Father. Prince Yushu cupped his hands. You want to enter the Qin Yu trial hall? King Qin Wushu's voice was powerful. Yes, father. Prince Yushu said. King Qin Wushu said, you should know the danger. With your strength, you have a 50% chance of dying. I know. Prince Yushu looked calm. King Qin Wushu looked over and was silent for a long time. Because of Lin Feng? Yes. Prince Yushu smiled. I want to try my best to fight with him. King Qin Wushu nodded. With your current strength, you have less than a 50% chance of winning. But Yushu, have you thought it through? Prince Yushu raised his head, and a faint smile appeared on his cultured and elegant face. Father, you have taught me since I was a child that I should do my best and strive for everything. As a warrior, if you are afraid of death, you will be a joke. Even if there is a 60% or 70% chance of dying, I don't care. I just want to improve my strength as much as possible. Father, please grant me my wish. Monarch Qin Wushuang's eyes lit up as he waved his hand. Go! Thank you, father. Prince Yushu left. Looking at that thin figure, the corner of Qin Wushu's mouth lifted and he nodded in satisfaction. Indeed, Yushu's talent was not great. However, in terms of character, and intelligence, she was the best. It seems that I have been neglecting him. King Qin Wushu looked kind. Chapter 1333. Prince Yushu and Qin Qing were doing their final cultivation. On the other side, Lin Feng did not fall behind. After 5 years of comprehension, he finally made the first step of the Thunder Beast Saber Technique's third move. The 7 blue battle saber in his hand shone with lightning. Lin Feng's eyes flashed and the shadow of the Thunder Unicorn appeared behind him. Lin Feng's aura changed. This is the point. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with excitement. The point of compatibility. The key point of intent. From the point to the surface, then from the surface to every step of the saber move, Lin Feng had been comprehending the Thunder Beast statue for 5 years. Finally, he comprehended the key point of the lightning and the horn. At this moment, Lin Feng found the right path. It was as if a thick iceberg had been broken. Different from the previous 2 moves, the Thunder Unicorn's third move contains the power of talent. It's so deep and complicated. Apart from the thunder cloud and lightning power, there's also a part of the thunderstorm Tao. The more Lin Feng comprehended, the more shocked he was. The fusion of 3 thunder Tao. No wonder it was a talent. The power was too terrifying. How could one comprehend it just by comprehending? Although Lin Feng's thundercloud, lightning, and thunderstorm Tao were all at level 6, he could not comprehend the fusion of 2, let alone 3. It's difficult. Lin Feng slashed with his saber, but his saber technique was blocked. Although this move is powerful, if I want to comprehend its essence, I might not be able to comprehend it even after an era. Mastering intent is the priority. Lin Feng nodded. If he could fully comprehend and perform this move, he believed that even his teacher would not be able to block it. However, it was too difficult. Combining the saber heavenly way, the cultivation of 3 origin Tao, and the Thunder Beast's talent, it was terrifying. The person who carved this Thunder Beast statue is at least as powerful as my teacher, the Sovereign True Dragon. Lin Feng adjusted his state of mind. At least he had a direction now. Mastering intent is the priority. Lin Feng started cultivating again. The 4th to 6th ranking matches quickly came to an end. The last failure seemed to have affected Yu Hu. He was supposed to be one of the most popular candidates, but in the end, he only ranked 5th, while Xiao Yitong, the weakest one among them, ranked 4th. Strength was equally important. The ranking matches had whetted his appetite because this was just a small test of his skills. What really caught everyone's attention was the battle for the top 3 5 years later. Qin Qing Prince Yushu, Lin Feng. Since the preliminaries, everyone had been in heated discussions. The price of the tickets for the battle of the top 3, which would only begin 5 years later, had already skyrocketed. The level of this Dongwang genius battle was too high. Yu Hu, for example, could have won the championship in any of the previous 10 competitions, but in this competition, he only got 5th place. Therefore, the rewards for this year's competition were exceptionally high. The 2nd and 3rd place finishers could choose any of the 5 powerful Chaos Hole treasures they wanted. The champion would even obtain a top-grade Chaos Hole Dark treasure. An unprecedented top-grade Chaos Hole Mystic treasure reward. Swoosh! In the Fairy Luo Palace, Qin Qing who was wearing a white dress, waved the sword in her hand elegantly. Her seemingly ordinary sword moves were full of hidden killer move. This was the top sword technique of the royal family. Thousand-layer White Lotus. Qin Qing was indeed a super genius cultivated by the royal family to assist the next emperor. She was just like the shadow saint king behind the current monarch, Qin Wushou. Qin Qing's sword technique was like a blooming lotus. In terms of sword heart, she was much stronger than Lin Feng. Her sword heart, which was at the peak of the 11th level, was outstanding even among the saints. The most terrifying thing was, this was not Qin Qing's full strength. Clang! Wherever Qin Qing's sword was unleashed, the entire space shook. White lotuses appeared in the void, blooming in hundreds of layers, swallowing up the entire area. Clap! She withdrew her sword, and the white lotuses dispersed. Clap, clap. The clapping sound came from a woman in a Taoist robe. Her eyebrows relaxed, and she revealed a gratified smile. She was the palace master of the Fairy Luo Palace, Yuningfan. I was right. Qing you have finally reached this level, Yuningfan said with a smile. Sword Heavenly Way. Qin Qing's sword had transformed into Heaven Ascension. With the peak of the 11th level sword heart and a trace of sword Heavenly Way, Qin Qing could be said to be invincible in terms of sword technique. Those who had not comprehended sword Heavenly Way, even if they cultivated to the peak of the 12th level, would not be her opponent. Thank you, Master, for cultivating me. Qin Qing bowed. She respected Yuningfan very much. She had raised her since she was young, taught her sword techniques, and treated her like a teacher and a mother. Yuningfan smiled gently. Unfortunately, you comprehended it 20 years too late. If you had comprehended it in the preliminaries, you would have been able to kill that beautiful desolate hoe instead of just severely injuring it. Qin Qing smiled gently. In the preliminaries, she could defeat the beautiful desolate hoe, but her sword technique was not strong enough, so she could only injure it severely and not kill it. Even so, she was satisfied. After all, she had comprehended it. With this set of Heavenly Way sword technique, 1000 White Lotus, you have set foot in the sword Heavenly Way. I believe you will be the champion of the Dongwang Genius Contest. Tell everyone that you, Qin Qing of the Fairy Luo Palace, are the strongest. Yes, Master. Qin Qing held her sword and bowed. 10 years had passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Qing was not the only one who had improved. The Qingyu Trial Hall was a secret land built on a broken star. Only the members of the royal family could enter to cultivate. Qin Qing had been there before. Prince Yushu had been there 10 years ago. Welcome, Crown Prince. The 15 saints led by Breaking Saw Saint all knelt on one knee to welcome Prince Yushu. At this time, Prince Yushu was not as gentle as before. He looked quite embarrassed, but his eyes were full of fighting intent. It felt like a lifetime ago. Crown Prince? Prince Yushu was stunned. Yes, His Majesty has announced it to the world. Breaking Saw Saint looked at him with admiration. If you can come out of the Qingyu trial hall unscathed, you will be the Crown Prince. Let's celebrate. Prince Yushu was stunned and then burst into laughter. He had never thought that his father would do this. There was already one Crown Prince, the first Prince, Qin Huan. Now there was one more. Father, you are putting me on the fire. Prince Yushu shook his head with a smile. That's not what His Majesty meant. Saint Posoa said, from today onward, we'll be the personal guards of the prince, and we'll assist the prince in succeeding the throne and successfully ascending to the throne. Crown Prince. The other 14 saints said respectfully. Among them, there were 3 middle-level saints and 11 lower-level saints. Breaking Saw Saint was the leader, who was an upper-level saint. It was a standard Crown Prince outfit. Good. Prince Yushu's eyes lit up. It seems that father is serious. He wants me to compete with my brother. Interesting. Life should be vigorous and vigorous. It doesn't matter if I win or lose. Chapter 1334. The anticipated Dongwang Genius Battle was coming to an end, and it was time for the competition. Qin Qing Prince Yushu, and Lin Feng's competition for the top 3 had attracted the attention of the entire Dongwang Empire. Everyone wanted to know who the most talented newcomer of this era in the Dongwang Empire was. In the Galaxy Dark Network, Dark Cloud, Elephant, and Huang Yi were all stunned. Damn, no way. Boss is in the top 3. Dark Cloud was shocked. Impossible, the same name? Elephant was also confused. This is the genius battle of the entire Dongwang Empire. No matter how powerful Boss is, he can't be in the top 3. You can see for yourself. There is a video. Huang Yi raised her chin and said proudly, Brother Lin is powerful. Wow, it's true. Boss is so awesome. Dark Cloud jumped up in shock. His eyes were full of stars and his voice was trembling. That's awesome. Did you see that? This is the boss who fought side by side with us. Who doesn't know? Elephant glanced at him. Even the current king is respectful to Boss. The Milky Way territory is mysterious and powerful in the Black Wolf Gold Empire. Not long ago, my father asked me if I could help. What a coincidence, so did my father. Dark Cloud laughed. The two looked at Huang Yi. She blushed and said, What are you looking at? My father did ask about my relationship with Brother Lin, but you all know that there is nothing between Brother Lin and me. Dark Cloud and Elephant were stunned. That's not what we asked you. Ah. Huang Yi's face turned red all the way to her neck as she went offline. Dark Cloud and Elephant looked at each other and smiled. Suddenly, Dark Cloud's eyes widened. Fatty Elephant, look, today is the top 3 battle. It seems so. Boss is going to compete? Elephant's eyes lit up. He was very excited. Look. In the Galaxy Dark Network, the number of people watching the top 3 battle was bursting. The price of the tickets for the event had already skyrocketed. Everyone was watching the live broadcast on the Milky Way Darknet. Qin Qing was leading by a large margin, with 67% of the vote. Prince Yushu was close behind with 27%. Lin Feng only got 6%, which was quite shabby. It was normal. Qin Qing was a woman who attracted a lot of attention. She was beautiful like a goddess. Most of the men's votes were for her. Prince Yushu was gentle and refined, and he was a prince of the empire. He was like a prince on a white horse. Naturally, he had the support of many women. It was already not easy for Lin Feng to get 6% support rate. F***CK. No matter what, Lin Feng is still a member of our 100 Saints Martial Palace. This support rate is too shabby. That's right, everyone. Let's push forward. If we fall too far behind, wouldn't we be losing face for our 100 Saints Martial Palace? What's the point of spending so much effort? The support rate is useless. It's better to be practical. If you really support our brother, go to the Dongwon Gambling Company and bet on Lin Feng to win. The odds are 114. 5. Bet? Forget it then. Isn't this just giving away money? Say. Who said? Let's bet. The 100 Saints Martial Palace included a group of geniuses, and all of them were unconvinced. Geniuses were willful. Let's bet. Soon, a large number of geniuses started to bet. Their bets were getting bigger and bigger. No one was willing to fall behind. Cosmos crystals were nothing. They could earn them back. The most important thing was that they could not lose face. As everyone placed their bets, Lin Feng's odds changed drastically. Soon, it dropped from 14.5 to 13.7, and it was still dropping. A bunch of lunatics. How can Lin Feng win? Qin Qing and Prince Yushu are up against each other. Yu Yong muttered with disdain. He was jealous. Since he was slapped by Lin Feng, he did not dare to come out. Until now, he did not dare to talk on the internal network. Lin Feng was like the sun in the sky. He was a super newcomer who represented the 100 Saints Martial Palace in the top 3. He will lose. Yu Yong gritted his teeth. Everyone is betting on Lin Feng, but I am betting on Qin Qing. Let's see who has a better foresight. Humph. I will bet everything. When Qin Qing wins the championship, it will prove that my foresight is right. How can Lin Feng win the championship? He is ridiculous. Like Yu Yong, too many people bet on Qin Qing. Although the odds had dropped to 1, there were still many people betting on her. Judging from her strength, Qin Qing's chances of winning were indeed above 95%. She was too powerful. She was way more powerful than Prince Yushu and Lin Feng. It is Prince Yushu and Lin Feng's misfortune to be in the same year as Qin Qing. Yeah. In any other year, they would have the strength to win the championship. But this year, Qin Qing is destined to be the champion. No one can take away her glory. Of course. Don't you know that Qin Qing has never been defeated? Of course I know. It is rumored that whoever can defeat Qin Qing will win her heart and marry her. Is that true? I am going to cultivate now. While everyone was looking forward to it, the battle for the top 3 began. In the duel arena of the capital, the audience seats were already full. The saints were there to maintain order. Even the monarch, Qin Wushu, had arrived early. He was very interested in these 3 people. Earlier, he had even appointed Prince Yushu as the crown prince. Finally, it's here. Lin Feng stepped into the duel arena. Looking at Qin Qing and Prince Yushu, who had arrived earlier than him, he smiled and nodded. No matter the result, he would try his best today. Brother Lin, you are so slow. Prince Yushu greeted him with a smile. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Prince Yushu seemed to be different from before. There was something extra, but Lin Feng could not tell what it was. Prince, you're really surprising. Lin Feng smiled, hinting at something. Prince Yushu raised his eyebrows and said straightforwardly, Of course, if I don't improve my strength, how can I compete with you too? At least now, even if I lose, I won't lose so badly. As he spoke, he smiled. Lin Feng smiled too. Of course, he knew that Prince Yushu was just joking. From his eyes, Prince Yushu wanted to win. Looking at Qin Qing again, Lin Feng was shocked. Qin Qing's smile was still amiable, but her eyes were shining with a power that Lin Feng was familiar with. Heavenly Way of Sword? Lin Feng could not help but take a deep breath. Qin Qing's strength was already terrifying. Now that she had comprehended a trace of Heavenly Way of Sword, how powerful would she be? It seems that there is no hope now. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Chapter 1335. Dongwon Genius Contest. The top 3 battle officially begins. Now, please draw lots for us, monarch. Saint Yuluan stirred up the audience's emotions and excitement. Suddenly, there was a burst of cheers. Many of the audience members were here specifically to see the monarch. He was the king at the top of the pyramid of power in the Dongwang Empire. Even Saint-King-level powerhouses were respectful to the monarch. Monarch Qin Wushou. Lin Feng's gaze landed on the old but domineering figure. Although the old man was old, his strength was not to be underestimated. He is similar to my teacher, Lin Feng thought to himself. Monarch Qin Wushou was an upper-level saint, and the royal family had many treasures. In terms of combat ability, Monarch Qin Wushou was at least a saint-king. Lin Feng glanced at Prince Yushou, who was not far away. He saw awe and respect in the latter's eyes. After saying a few words out of courtesy, Monarch Qin Wushou drew lots directly. Lin Feng said, "Oh." He could already see the result. In Monarch Qin Wushou's hand, he took out ball number 1. That meant Qin Qing won the first round. There was a burst of excitement. Qin Qing had the most fans. Prince Yushou was not surprised. He looked over and smiled. Lin Feng also smiled. Guchong, Dark Wind, and Guanwen won the top 3 battle. Winning the first round did not mean that one would advance directly. Today, the first round between him and Prince Yushou had ended. The loser would fight Qin Qing in the second round 5 years later. If Qin Qing lost, the top 3 battle would end. If Qin Qing won, there would be a third round. The winner between him and Prince Yushou would fight Qin Qing. Wow! Qin Qing's eyes flashed. She looked calm and indifferent. She turned around and smiled. She nodded and stepped back. For her, the result of the draw did not matter. She had absolute confidence and strength to win the first round. "Brother Lin, we finally have a chance to fight again," Prince Yushou said with a smile. "Yes." Lin Feng smiled. He was satisfied with the result of the draw. Ever since he lost to Prince Yushou, he had hoped to have another chance to challenge him. Now, his strength had improved a lot. "Fighting against you, there is an indescribable strangeness." Prince Yushou laughed. "Maybe it's because we are too familiar with each other. How about we make a bet?" "Oh." Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. Prince Yushou shrugged. "You also know that I have just been promoted to the position of Crown Prince. I am under a lot of pressure. As a Crown Prince, I have to aim for the throne. My side is weak, but Big Brother has many capable people." Lin Feng nodded. He had heard the news. "Your Highness, don't tell me you want to bring up the same old plan again?" Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh. Prince Yushou really didn't give up until he reached the Yellow River. He had tried to recruit her, and he had also tried the honey trap. Now, he had changed his method. "Brother Lin is really amazing." Prince Yushou pretended to be surprised and gave a thumbs up. Lin Feng was also helpless. "Of course, since it is a bet, it is naturally fair." Prince Yushou's expression suddenly turned serious, his eyes bright. "If I lose to Brother Lin, I will give you a powerful chaos hole profound treasure. What do you think, Brother Lin?" Prince Yushou's voice was calm, but there was a hint of calm confidence. Lin Feng softly nodded. "It seems that Your Highness has made remarkable progress. I am still interested in Your Highness' bet, but—" Lin Feng shook his head. "I am indebted to the 100 Saints Martial Hall. Even if Your Highness invites me with a peak chaos profound treasure, I will not betray the 100 Saints Martial Hall. A small favor should be repaid with a gushing spring." Lin Feng was not an ungrateful person. He had long regarded 100 Saints Martial Hall as his home. "Brother Lin, you misunderstand." Prince Yushou smiled. "Back then, I represented the imperial family, but now, I only represent myself. Brother Lin, you don't have to leave 100 Saints Martial Hall. I only hope that if possible, when the time comes, Brother Lin will stand on my side." Their eyes met. Lin Feng shook his head. The smile on Prince Yushou's face froze, and he looked disappointed. "Friends don't need to bet on this." Lin Feng walked past Prince Yushou and said calmly, As long as it is not against benevolence and righteousness, I will stand on your highness' side as long as it is within my power." Prince Yushu was stunned, and then he was overjoyed. "What a good friend! I am the one who cares." At this moment, in the first round, Qin Wushuang from the imperial family will fight against Lin Feng from 100 Saints Martial Hall. Saint Yu Luan shouted. As monarch Qin Wushuang returned to the dragon throne, the audience burst into thunderous cheers. They had been waiting for this battle for 10 years. The Dongwang genius battle had begun. "Prince, come on. Prince Yushu, you must win. Defeat Lin Feng and win glory for our Dongwang Empire." The audience supported him one-sidedly. Prince Yushu was not only elegant and noble, but also the dream lover of thousands of girls. Now that he had become the crown prince, he was very likely to become the monarch in the future. Naturally, his support was high. The most important thing was, Prince Yushu's opponent was Lin Feng. If it were Qin Qing, the support would be the opposite. Damn it. Why do they all support Prince Yushu? On the side of 100 Saints Martial Hall, the geniuses were unhappy. Seeing that their contestants were not valued, they felt uncomfortable. That's right. That prince is nothing. Lin Feng is a commoner. He is a real genius. That's right. These people who try to curry favor with the powerful have gone too far. The intranet was full of indignation. But in fact, everyone knew that they were no match for Prince Yushu's support. They could only silently cheer for Lin Feng, and they bet all their money on Lin Feng's victory at the Dongwang lottery. On the contrary, it was very quiet in the arena. The surrounding defense system was completely silent to ensure that Lin Feng and Qin Wushuang would not be disturbed by the outside world. The Super X-level defense system could block attacks below the black hole level. It was unbreakable. There were more than 10 saints around. Finally, I have a chance to fight again. That day when he lost to Prince Yushu, Lin Feng worked harder to cultivate. Now, his strength had been greatly improved. On the other side, Prince Yushu also looked serious. He knew his strength. Even if he came back from the Qingyu trial hall, he was still no match for Qin Qing. For Prince Yushu, this battle was the end of the Dongwang genius battle. He must win. The two geniuses, Lin Feng and Prince Yushu, stood facing each other, causing the entire arena to become silent. It was as if a storm was about to come. Along with Yu Luan Saint's shout. Boom! The battle of the top 3 began. Sabers and swords were unsheathed. The two figures crossed each other at the speed of light. At the beginning, they launched the fiercest attack, igniting the emotions of the audience and the Dongwang genius battle. Chapter 1336. Qin Qing-er's beautiful eyes flashed. She noticed that Prince Yushu's strength had increased, and she also noticed Lin Feng. However, she was only slightly surprised and didn't take it to heart. After all, Qin Qing was still confident in her victory. Unlike Qin Qing monarch Qin Wushuo was very satisfied. Because Prince Yushu was young, he hadn't noticed it before. It wasn't until the Dongwang genius battle that he realized that this little guy was no longer an ignorant person. He's just like me when I was young. The more monarch Qin Wushuo looked at him, the more he liked him. He wasn't very talented, but he still managed to sit in his current position. Talent didn't mean everything. The fierce confrontation dazzled everyone. Unexpectedly, Lin Feng and Prince Yushu were on par with each other. It was hard to tell who had the upper hand. The audience's cheers filled the sky. Everyone's face was red and their voices were hoarse. How wonderful the battle was! Amazing! Prince Yushu was forced to retreat by Lin Feng, but he was not surprised. Instead, he was happy. Originally, he thought that after returning from cultivation, he could easily suppress Lin Feng and win. However, he didn't expect that Lin Feng's strength had increased even more than his, and he even had the upper hand. Prince Yushu was not a narrow-minded person. The more powerful Lin Feng was, the happier he was. It also proved that he didn't misjudge Yi Futian. This was a talent. I still have to use this move. A dark green light flashed in his hand. Prince Yushu had already used his ultimate move. It was the top chaotic whole dark treasure sky ruler that defeated Lin Feng that day. It was a top offensive chaotic whole dark treasure. Not to mention Lin Feng, even a saint would suffer a great loss if he wasn't careful. With Prince Yushu's strength, although he couldn't use all of it, it was comparable to a saint's attack. That day, Lin Feng was caught off guard and was severely injured. After that, he was quickly defeated. Prince Yushu is going to use his ultimate move. He's using it again. It seems that Lin Feng is giving Prince Yushu a lot of pressure. The battle is about to end. In the audience stands, many people had seen Prince Yushu and Lin Feng fight for the first time. It was also the first time Prince Yushu used the top chaos whole mystic treasure, the Heaven Illumination Ruler. It was extremely powerful. That was a top-grade Chaos Cave profound treasure. Even Qin Qing may not be able to resist this move, right? I don't think so. This move is too strong. Lin Feng and Prince Yushu were evenly matched before. When Prince Yushu used the Heavenly Ruler, Lin Feng was defeated. When your strength is similar, treasures are extremely important. Qin Qing who was watching the battle, looked calm and composed, like a lotus flower that stood aloof from worldly affairs. She had countless ways to block the Heavenly Ruler because her strength was much stronger than Prince Yushu's. When the difference in strength was too obvious, no matter how powerful a treasure was, it would be difficult for it to display its might. Sure enough, they came. How could Lin Feng not be prepared? The first time he was defeated by Prince Yushu, he was inexperienced, but he would not make the same mistake twice. True Dragon Great Illusory Realm. Lin Feng glanced over and used it in an instant. Once the high-level True Dragon Great Illusory Realm was used, Prince Yushu frowned. His mind was affected, and the surrounding scene was blurred. Prince Yushu shouted, and the Heavenly Ruler turned into a towering tree, shining with dark green light. Boom! It broke through the True Dragon Great Illusory Realm. Using force to break through the Tao, Prince Yushu's attack was extremely direct, but Lin Feng's attack was even more direct. Sizzle! Sizzle! The 7 blue battle sabers surged with thunder element. Before the True Dragon Great Illusory Realm collapsed, it suddenly appeared behind Prince Yushu. A thunder unicorn revealed a ferocious look, and its sharp claws attacked. Thunder and lightning rolled. Lin Feng's saber arts concept was profound and powerful. Prince Yushu was in a passive position when he used the Heavenly Ruler to attack the True Dragon Great Illusory Realm. Facing the unpredictable Lin Feng, Prince Yushu tried his best to defend, but he was still knocked back while vomiting blood. His face turned pale. Lin Feng's attack was too fast. Unlike Prince Yushu, who relied on treasures, Lin Feng relied on his own strength, which was more comprehensive. The Heaven's Path Saber Art, coupled with the tenfold limit Saber Heart, blasted out with endless soul power. Chi! With another claw, Prince Yushu was sent flying and his aura weakened. Heavenly Ruler! Prince Yushu shouted. The dark green tree came crashing down. Prince Yushu took 2 moves head-on and finally caught his breath. The True Dragon Great Illusory Realm shook violently. It had already been destroyed, and Lin Feng's path was wide open. But this time, Prince Yushu was careful. He only used 50% of the Heavenly Ruler's power. He did not want to be defeated by Lin Feng again. Let's see how you dodge. Prince Yushu pursed his lips. His eyes were filled with absolute confidence. He was very confident in the Heavenly Ruler's power. The sudden attack did not give Lin Feng any chance. It was slow to say, but it was fast to say. Lin Feng had already attacked with his saber. He did not dodge at all and went straight for the Heavenly Ruler. Lin Feng shouted and pushed his strength to the limit. His soul power drove his domain, and the power of the 7 blue battle saber appeared. This time, Lin Feng went straight for the Heavenly Ruler. Pung! There was an earth-shattering collision. The remaining force of the collision shot toward the beyond grade 10 defense system and tore it apart. The audience was shocked. That was a black hole-level defense. It broke just like that. It was too cruel. What a pity. King Qin Wushu shook his head, but he still maintained his smile. Although he knew that Prince Yushu would be defeated soon, this was enough to give him a pleasant surprise. The life and death trial in the Qingyu Trial Hall had increased Prince Yushu's strength. The failure was not because Prince Yushu was weak, but because his opponent was too strong. This kid, his strength is improving every time I see him. He's like a bottomless pit. Saint Yu Luan praised in his heart. King Qin Wushu also smiled in satisfaction. With their strength, they were naturally able to see it clearly. Lin Feng was terrifyingly strong, breaking the heavenly ruler with an illusion, and then luring the snake out of its hole, greatly reducing Prince Yushu's strength. Finally, he dared to fight against a top-grade chaos hole treasure. Indeed, Lin Feng had suffered a loss. However, this loss was nothing to him. The heavenly ruler's casting speed was too slow, and there were too many restrictions. Although Lin Feng was pushed back, he quickly rushed forward and broke the disadvantageous situation of the Chaos Hole treasure. This time, Prince Yushu had no chance. In front of Lin Feng's Thunder Beast Saber technique, which was more terrifying than the previous one, Prince Yushu was defeated. For many saints, the battle was already halfway through and they could see it clearly. But the rest of the audience could not understand. What happened? It can't be, Prince Yushu lost? How could this be? Even the heavenly ruler was useless. This loss is too miserable. Prince Yushu pressed his hand on his wound and stood up weakly. He looked at Lin Feng and said, "Beautiful win. You let me win." Lin Feng said humbly. They looked at each other and smiled. They fought to the death on the stage, but in reality they were good friends. To be continued. Chapter 1337. What? Inside the 100 Saints Martial Hall, all the geniuses were in an uproar. Seeing Lin Feng defeat Prince Yushu cleanly, everyone's emotions were ignited. The suppressed energy in their hearts erupted like a volcano. Everyone looked down on Lin Feng and the 100 Saints Martial Hall. They said that the 100 Saints Martial Hall was old and had not produced any good seedlings in the past few batches. The top 3 places had always been empty. Although there were many people in the top 100, their combat strength was average, and there were no outstanding geniuses. Now, Lin Feng's appearance was a heavy slap to the faces of those who looked down on the 100 Saints Martial Hall. The 100 Saints Martial Hall was still the strongest force in the Dongwang Empire. Not only did they have the strongest saints, but they also had the best nebula-grade geniuses. Well done! Lin Feng is amazing. Learn from Lin Feng. I want to be the champion of the Silver Heart class. So what if he's a prince? So what if he has a top-grade Chaos Hole dark treasure? We have the real deal. We don't need to rely on treasures. Well said, this is the strength of our 100 Saints Martial Hall. Although most of the saints and sacred kings of the 100 Saints Martial Hall had entered the ancient Myriad World secret domain, there was still a wave of excitement. Lin Feng's victory had earned him a sense of honor and was the pride of the 100 Saints Martial Hall. The audience applauded enthusiastically. Although most of them supported Prince Yushu, this was a battle worthy of praise. Lin Feng had defeated Prince Yushu head-on. He had won fair and square. Saint Yu Luan soon announced the result, and the atmosphere was jubilant. Lin Feng and Prince Yushu walked down from the arena. Qin Qing who was wearing a white dress, was waiting for them. Her watery eyes seemed to be able to speak. She raised her arm and extended her white wrist, saying, "Congratulations, Mr. Lin." "Thank you." Lin Feng reached out to shake her hand. Qin Qing smiled. "Qing looks forward to fighting you in 10 years. Me too." Lin Feng's eyes landed on the palm-sized, flawless face. He was unable to see any emotion in Qin Qing's eyes, but it was enough to see her confidence, as there would be another duel in 5 years. It was a duel between Prince Yushu and Qin Qing. "You don't put me in your eyes, do you?" Prince Yushu smiled bitterly. Qin Qing smiled and said, "I wouldn't dare." "Is there anything you don't dare to do?" Prince Yushu rolled his eyes. He had a good relationship with Qin Qing, so he could say anything. "I think I should give up after 5 years. Qin Qing was not surprised. "It's okay for the crown prince to do so." Prince Yushu's lips twitched. He pretended to be angry and looked at Lin Feng. "Look, she doesn't even put me in her eyes. I'll leave the task of breaking her spirit to you, Brother Lin." Qin Qing covered her mouth and smiled. She was as beautiful as a blooming peony, which stunned everyone around her. Lin Feng was also surprised, but then he smiled and said, "I hope I can do it." These words not only stunned Prince Yushu, but also made Qin Qing's smile freeze. Her beautiful eyes glanced at Lin Feng, and her beautiful body slightly bowed. "Qing I am looking forward to that battle." Having said that, Qin Qing bowed to Prince Yushu and left. The atmosphere was a bit tense. "You angered her," Prince Yushu said. "I know." Lin Feng was calm. Prince Yushu said, "Oh, you mean it?" Lin Feng shook his head and looked at Prince Yushu. "I just want to give myself some motivation or pressure." Looking at Qin Qing's beautiful back, Lin Feng's eyes showed his desire to fight. 10 years later, I want to beat her. Since he had come this far, he wanted to reach the highest level. No matter who the opponent was, no matter how strong they were, he wanted to win. A martial artist should have the heart to challenge others. Prince Yushu teased, "Look, you don't admit it, but your heart betrayed you." "Betrayed what?" Lin Feng was puzzled. Prince Yushu squinted his eyes and said, "I see through you. You are very lustful. I told you last time that if you beat Qin Qing you could make her marry you. It seems that you really care about her." Lin Feng was speechless. The first battle of the 3-grade battle ended quickly. The second battle was held 5 years later. It was between Prince Yushu and Qin Qing. This battle attracted a lot of attention, especially because the 2 contestants were very special. One of them was a dragon among men. The other one was a phoenix among men. The battle between a dragon and a phoenix was very attractive. The result was not surprising. Qin Qing defeated Prince Yushu without a single injury. Most people did not even see how Qin Qing won before the fight was over. She was too strong. Qin Qing's strength was far beyond Prince Yushu's. Lin Feng did not go to the venue. Instead, he watched the live broadcast on the Milky Way darknet. The difference was not that big. He went to the venue to feel the atmosphere. Watching the live broadcast was better. It is indeed the Heavenly Path sword art. Lin Feng was shocked. Qin Qing's Heavenly Path sword art was very strong. The Heavenly Path sword art was extremely fast. With the help of her sword heart and the Heavenly Path of the sword, she completely crushed Prince Yushu. The latter did not even have a chance to fight back. The gap between their realms was too big. My Sky Blade saber art is stronger than her sword art. But my realm is not as good as hers. Unless I can comprehend the third move of the Thunder Beast blade art, my attack power will be weaker than hers. Lin Feng carefully analyzed the gap between his strength and Qin Qing's. Basically, realms were more important than moves. The Heavenly Path of the sword and the Heavenly Path of the saber might seem like the same level, but there was a fundamental difference. With the enhancement of the Heavenly Path of the sword and the Heavenly Path of the saber, the gap was widened. My body is stronger, but Qin Qing's weapon is better. Lin Feng was helpless. Although the 7 blue battle saber was compatible with him, it was not able to unleash its full power. Qin Qing's sword was different. It was also a powerful chaotic dark treasure, but it was perfectly compatible with her. It could unleash a power that was not inferior to Prince Yushu's heavenly ruler. As for the comprehension of Tao, I am not as good as her. Lin Feng pursed his lips and pondered. Just like what Prince Yushu said, she was a perfect fairy. It would be difficult to defeat her at the same level. With only 5 years left, it would be even more difficult to find a way to defeat Qin Qing. However, this only made his fighting spirit higher. Lin Feng wanted to win this battle very much. There are still 5 years left. There must be a way. The thunder element on the 7 blue battle saber in Lin Feng's hand surged. It seemed to have felt its master's fighting spirit and was greatly encouraged. Weapons had spirit. The 7 blue battle saber was also a powerful chaotic dark treasure. At this moment, "Young master, a guest has arrived." The white commander's figure flashed and reported respectfully. Lin Feng was slightly surprised. The white commander should know that he did not receive guests when he was cultivating. "Haha, there is no need to report. I will come in myself." A hearty laugh came from afar. Lin Feng heard the voice and could not help but laugh. Chapter 1338. It was Prince Yushu, who had just finished his battle. Lin Feng recognized Prince Yushu's voice, but he did not expect him to come to him as soon as he finished his battle. He was wearing silver armor, and his slender figure had an elegant temperament. He came with a smile. "Prince." Lin Feng smiled and greeted him. "You didn't expect me to come, did you?" Prince Yushu smiled. He was very friendly. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Didn't you just finish your battle?" Prince Yushu shrugged and said, "What kind of battle was that?" "I was abused. Compared to Qing my strength is worlds apart." "You are exaggerating," Lin Feng said. "Not at all." Prince Yushu sighed and said, "I understand that there are so-called geniuses in this world. Mortals can achieve something if they work hard for a lifetime, but some geniuses are just as hard-working. Innate deficiencies may not be made up after birth." Lin Feng sighed. Although he did not agree with Prince Yushu's point of view, he did not refute it. He believed that as long as mortals were willing to work hard, opportunities would come. Nothing was absolute. However, Prince Yushu's words were more emotional. Lin Feng mocked him and said, "You didn't come here to say this to me, did you? Do you want me, a mortal, to give up the battle with geniuses?" No. Prince Yushu shook his head. "Brother Lin, you are different from me. I am a genius that was created through the accumulation of the imperial family's resources. However, Brother Lin, you are a genuine genius. Your talent is comparable to Qin Qing's," Prince Yushu said. Lin Feng shook his head and said, "You think too highly of me, Prince. I am not exaggerating at all. Although my talent for martial arts is average, I am very good at judging people. I will never be wrong." Prince Yushu said seriously, "To be honest, I have never taken the initiative to recruit a talent. You are the first. Because I have a feeling that Brother Lin will definitely be able to help me ascend to the throne in the future." Lin Feng smiled and said, "You are honest, Prince. But I am afraid that I am not strong enough to help." Prince Yushu laughed and said, "Brother Lin, you do not have to belittle yourself. Whether you are right or not will be judged in the future. In fact, I am here to tell you the information about Qing so that you can have a better chance of winning." Prince paused and nodded. "Defeat her and marry her." Lin Feng was speechless. He had never meant to do that. But he was curious about the prince's words. Lin Feng was curious. He. Prince Yushu raised his eyebrows. Then, he began to talk non-stop. A black demon skull appeared in Prince Yushu's hand. As soon as he took it out, it revealed a shocking dark power. Lin Feng's eyes widened. An extremely demonic and terrifying power seemed to surge out of his heart, forming the image of a demon in his mind. Bang! Lin Feng stared at the black demon's skull. His heart was beating fast. "Pa!" Prince Yushu clapped his hands. Lin Feng suddenly woke up and looked at Prince Yushu. The latter revealed a smile and said, "Great, Brother Lin and this powerful chaos whole mystic treasure can indeed sense each other. It is very strong." Lin Feng did not hide it. "The heavens are helping me." Prince Yushu raised the black demon skull and said, "To be honest, Brother Lin, I am here to give you a treasure." "Give you a treasure?" Lin Feng was stunned. "Brother Lin, you haven't forgotten our bet, have you?" Prince Yushu smiled. Lin Feng came to a sudden realization and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "I don't think I made the bet, right?" "We did." Prince Yushu nodded and did not give Lin Feng a chance to retort. He stuffed the black demon skull into Lin Feng's hand and said, "I am a prince. How can I lie to you? This nightmare skull is the bet. Keep it well. I don't owe you anything now." Prince Yushu clapped his hands and grinned. "Use it well. Not only can it provide you with strong combat strength, but it can also make Qin suffer. 5 years later, you must avenge me." After saying that, Prince Yushu left without waiting for Lin Feng's reply. Lin Feng was left holding the nightmare's skull and smiling helplessly. Prince Yushu was indeed a good person. Even though Lin Feng knew that he was trying to win him over, it was hard to refuse. It was even harder to hate him. Prince Yushu was right about one thing. Everyone had their own specialties. "I owe you a favor." Lin Feng was not an inflexible person. Since they were interested in each other, he did not mind being won over by Prince Yushu. The nightmare skull. Lin Feng could feel an extremely cold aura from this black demon skull. It resonated with his own dark demon aura, surging and surging. The dark demonic way was very dangerous. Practicing it might affect one's mind and be devoured by the power of the dark demonic way. However, Lin Feng was not afraid. Since he was not sure that he could defeat Qin, or even if he practiced it for another 5 years, he might as well try Prince Yushu's method. Lin Feng did as he thought. He cut his hand and blood fell on the black demon's skull. In an instant, whoosh, the pair of abyss devil eyes on the abyss devil skull lit up. The horrible dark demonic aura enveloped Lin Feng. His eyes turned dark red. He was immersed in the dark demonic aura. The horrible power was awakened. The powerful chaotic whole treasure had begun to recognize its master. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. In the fairy Luo Palace, Qin was not complacent. She continued to practice her swordsmanship and the newly comprehended heavenly way of sword. She had never been defeated since her debut. She was a legend among the younger generation of the Donghuang Empire. It was not a rumor that she would marry someone who defeated Qin. It was a rule set by Yuningfan, the palace master of the fairy Luo Palace. Her purpose was to force Qin to practice to the best of her ability. It was a clever move. If someone of the same age could defeat the gifted Qin, how powerful would that person be? Qin could marry someone who was more powerful. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. However, no one of the same age as her had ever done it. Until now, Qin had already accepted the rule set by the palace master. Just as Lin Feng had said, she seemed to be approachable, but she had a proud heart. She hoped that her future husband would be stronger than her. Otherwise, how could he conquer her? "Master, I will win the Donghuang genius battle to repay you for raising me and teaching me. I will make the fairy Luo Palace famous." Qin bowed slightly. In her eyes, there was a strong heavenly way of sword. She was invincible. In the past 10 years, Qin had made great progress. "Go ahead. I believe that no one can defeat my good disciple." Palace Master Yuningfan smiled confidently. She could not think of anyone of the same age in the Donghuang Empire who could defeat Qin. Such a genius had not been born yet. Chapter 1339. It's about time. Lin Feng got up and left the Crane Saint Planet No. 5. The nightmare's skull in his hand glowed and disappeared along with the blood red in Lin Feng's eyes. With its help, I may be weaker than Qin, but I may be able to fight her. In the past 5 years, Lin Feng had spent at least half of his time on the nightmare's skull, and he had achieved remarkable result. Compared with 10 years ago, his combat strength had improved greatly. "I'll do my best and leave no regrets." Lin Feng knew clearly that this would be his last battle as a silver core. He was not far from reaching the mind distance requirement of the silver core. He would be able to break through within 100 years. The capital of the empire was crowded with people. The arena was full early in the morning. The last battle of the Dongwang Genius Contest was between Qin Qing, the favorite champion, and Lin Feng, the dark horse. Everyone was looking forward to it. Qin Qing, goddess. Qin Qing, Qin Qing-er's voice was very loud. Even when Qin Qing fought with Prince Yushu 5 years ago, it was a one-sided victory, not to mention Lin Feng, who was unknown. Although the 100 Saints Martial Temple was powerful, its power in the Dongwang Empire was ordinary. After all, the 100 Saints Martial Temple had high requirements for its disciples. But that was also the smart part of the 100 Saints Martial Temple. They did not compete with the royal family and worked hard to develop themselves. The saints and saint kings were the top decision-makers in the Milky Way. But this time, Lin Feng, come on. Marry Qin Qing. In the corner of the auditorium, there was a sudden sound of disharmony. The disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Temple came spontaneously to cheer for Lin Feng. They even pulled up a huge banner, which glittered with fluorescent lights. There was even a picture of the two of them together, which made Qin Qing's fans so angry that their faces and necks turned red. However, when they saw the symbols of the forces these warriors belonged to, they all swallowed a mouthful of blood and did not dare to act rashly. No one dared to offend the 100 Saints Martial Temple. Lin Feng raised his head and looked into the distance of the audience. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't expect that these disciples, whom he had never met before, would come all the way here to cheer for him. Warmth flowed through his heart. It had been half a year since he joined the 100 Saints Martial Palace, and this place truly felt like home. Although not many people had come, he had received their goodwill. On the other side, Qin Qing, who was wearing a white dress, stood with her head held high. Her delicate neck lifted slightly as she looked at the huge banner. Her beautiful face looked calm, but a glint flashed across her beautiful eyes. Haha, good. This banner is well done. That's amazing. Only Prince Yushu dared to say this. Clapping his hands, Prince Yushu walked towards Lin Feng with a smile on his face. Well done, brother Lin. That's what you need. Qin Qing is nothing. Beat her and marry her. On the other side, Qin Qing-er's face suddenly froze, and her cherry lips pursed. Your Highness, you should know that I have no such intentions, Lin Feng said hastily. What? Prince Yushu pretended to be shocked as he stared at Lin Feng. Brother Lin, you only want to defeat Qin Qing and not marry her? This is too cruel. Lin Feng wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. If he continued, it would only make things worse. He glanced at Qin Qing, whose face had already turned cold. Don't talk nonsense. Let's see who's stronger in the duel. Qin Qing-er's voice floated over with a hint of firmness and anger. After all, she was a girl. Lin Feng looked over and saw Qin Qing-er's back facing him. She was obviously angry. He then looked at Prince Yushu, who had a gentle smile on his face. He shrugged his shoulders and pretended to be innocent. Your Highness, you did it on purpose. Lin Feng immediately understood. What on purpose? I don't understand. Prince Yushu continued to play dumb. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. On the one hand, Prince Yushu wanted to stimulate his fighting spirit. On the other hand, he wanted to force Qin Qing to lose her mind. It was a good plan. Although it didn't work on him, on Qin Qing-er's side, the effect was very obvious. It was up to him. Soon, Monarch Qin Wushu went up to the stage and said a few words as usual. On the other side, Dongwang Gambling had entered the final stage. Qin Qing-er's winning odds had increased from 1.02 to 1.04. It had increased a lot. It meant that the warriors who bet on Lin Feng's victory had increased a lot during this time. Most of them were the geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Palace. At this time, the disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Palace who hadn't bought the tickets were waiting on the intranet with their eyes wide open and their breaths held. It was about glory. It was about the money in their pockets. God bless, Lin Feng must win. I've bet all my money on him. If I lose, I won't even have my pants left tomorrow. It's 1 to 10. If I win this time, I'll be rich. Geniuses were always capricious. Under everyone's expectant eyes, Lin Feng and Qin Qing went up to the stage. Luan Saint looked at them with relief. He had thought highly of Lin Feng before, but he didn't expect that he could really make it this far. As for Qin Qing, her strength had long been recognized. Are the two of you ready? Luan Saint confirmed once again. Yes. Lin Feng and Qin Qing said almost at the same time. Luan Saint nodded. At this time, the audience was holding their breath. Pairs of eyes were fixed on the arena, waiting for the flames of war to ignite. Boom! With Luan Saint's order, the battle for the champion of the Dongwang Genius Battle officially began. Sabers and swords were unsheathed at the same time. Thunder Beast Saber Technique versus Thousand-Layer White Lotus. In the void, a ferocious giant Thunder Beast appeared. Compared to the one that Lin Feng had displayed before, not only was its form and spirit more impressive, but its body was also much larger. The moment it attacked, it was infused with the heavenly way of the saber, and its power was unparalleled. On the other side, layers of white lotuses bloomed. Qin Qing's face was as cold as frost, and her sword technique was not careless at all. Originally, she had a good impression of Lin Feng, but now it was different. She hated those flirtatious playboys the most. In Qin Qing's opinion, strength was gained through fighting, not through bragging. The sword technique at the limit of the 11th level instantly bloomed white lotuses. Each white lotus was like a sword whirled, swallowing the thunder unicorn in the void like a whirlpool. In terms of the control of the sword heart, Qin Qing was obviously stronger. The momentum in the void collided. The thunder unicorn was directly wrapped by the white lotuses, shrouded and swallowed in an instant. However, the arena was filled with thunder and lightning. Lin Feng's attack was extremely powerful. Suddenly, bang, bang, the white lotuses were shattered. Although the thunder unicorn's momentum was not enough, it was extremely powerful. In the blink of an eye, they had already exchanged 10 moves. The audience was stunned and didn't even dare to breathe. The strength of the two was far beyond imagination. Was this a joke? Was this a battle between silver core level experts? Even a battle between top silver core level experts was nothing more than this. Chapter 1340. Great! Monarch Qin Wushou stood up and applauded. His dignified eyes shone brightly as he stood up, emitting the aura of an emperor. With his eyes and experience, he naturally took in the entire battle just now and was very satisfied. As a monarch, how could he not be excited to see two peerless geniuses in the Dongwang Empire? No matter who won, it didn't matter to Qin Wushou. What mattered was that they were the geniuses of the Dongwang Empire. Qin Qing Lin Feng. Monarch Qin Wushou laughed heartily. He hadn't been so happy for a long time. Although they were only at the silver core level, their combat power was comparable to a saint. Both of them had comprehended a bit of the way of heaven. Not only that, they had mastered the way of heaven sword and way of heaven blade. Even in the silver core level, they were at the top level. With Monarch Qin Wushou's praise, the entire audience was excited. It was so cool to see such a duel with their own eyes. Qin Qing you must win. Don't lose to Lin Feng. Use your unique skill and defeat him. In the audience, cheers and shouts came one after another. The geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Palace didn't want to be left behind. The huge banner lit up again. Lin Feng is the best. Defeat Qin Qing and marry her. Yeah. At this moment, the two were fighting fiercely in the duel field. It looked like they were evenly matched, but that was not the case. Lin Feng had already tried his best, while Qin Qing was still at ease. Qin Qing white jade turned into a dancing butterfly, and many white lotuses surrounded Lin Feng. Her sword heart was only one level stronger than Lin Feng's. However, when combined with the way of sword, the gap between them widened. If Qin Qing didn't want to fight with Lin Feng face to face, she would have won already. His body is like the demon with the strongest bloodline. After the real battle, Qin Qing realized that she couldn't underestimate Lin Feng. She would definitely be injured if she fought with him face to face. It seems that I have to use my real strength to defeat him. Qin Qing's body shone with white light, and a mark appeared on her holy face. It was her bloodline, the Thousand Light Marrow. Because of her powerful bloodline, Qin Qing was able to achieve twice the result with half the effort in both battle and cultivation. 10,000 Light Marrow, one of the top bloodlines in the Milky Way. Only black hole-level great beings were capable of resonating with the heavens and earth and bringing down the origin sea. However, Qin Qing already had it when she was born. As her powers grew, so did the origin sea in her body. If a cosmic system state martial artist cultivated one of the origin laws to the extreme, they would be recognized by the origin laws and be granted access to the origin sea. Possessing an origin sea was the foundation of being able to use origin source laws. Qin Qing couldn't use the origin law now, but the power of the origin sea was far beyond that of a cosmic system state. 6 Starlight Ring Profound Meaning U Formation. Qin Qing's body was covered with dense light energy. Rings of light spread out and broke Lin Feng's soul realm. Rings of light appeared on the ground and restricted Lin Feng greatly. Qin Qing's light ring, and brilliant ring were all at the extreme 6th level. The extreme limit of the silver core level. Seeing Qin Qing releasing her bloodline power, the audience roared in excitement. They knew what it meant. Lin Feng would soon be in a hopeless situation, and would be defeated by Qin Qing easily. Even so, Lin Feng was already very honored. In the entire Milky Way, there weren't many silver core great beings who could force Qin Qing to use her bloodline power. It's here indeed. Lin Feng was not surprised. With Prince Yushu, the secret teller, Lin Feng already knew about Qin Qing's talent ability. The nightmare skull was prepared for this. The dark devil skull shook. Lin Feng's eyes widened. His whole body was covered with a dark energy. Driven by the dark devil path, Lin Feng's body turned into a thick darkness. A giant devil figure rose behind him. It was the enemy of light. Sizzle! 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 Lin Feng's body suddenly expanded, showing a trace of horror. The power of the heaven hatred form increased again. The nightmare skull had the power of the dark devil path, which could counter Qin Qing. This was a powerful chaotic whole dark treasure. The moment the perfectly compatible chaos whole dark treasure appeared, everyone was shocked. The vigorous dark demonic power broke Qin Qing's 6 stars formation right away. Lin Feng's physical strength skyrocketed, and even his speed increased drastically. Qi, strength and speed combined perfectly. At the same time that Lin Feng broke the jade formation, he had already brandished his blade to attack. Although his eyes revealed a blood-red light, with Lin Feng's willpower, his mind was not affected in the slightest. On the contrary, he was able to freely control the violent qi of the dark demon force. Qin Qing was caught off guard. However, she was indeed impressive. White lotuses bloomed one after another, retreating from offense to defense, not revealing the slightest flaw. The powerful bloodline of myriad light marrow condensed rays of sword qi of light, directly attacking Lin Feng. The light marrow could not only increase Qin Qing's battle strength, but it could also help her comprehend profound meanings more effectively. Others needed to connect their consciousness to the origin sea to cultivate, but Qin Qing had the origin sea in her body. The gap between them was naturally huge. Lin Feng used the Nightmare Skull's power to its fullest, but the Nightmare Skull was only a support-type treasure after all. It didn't have any attacking power, and the Dark Devil power couldn't affect Qin Qing who had a firm Dao heart. As Qin Qing gradually calmed down, the scales started to tilt towards her. Powerful indeed. Lin Feng was full of fighting spirit. His attacks were blocked again and again. Qin Qing's strength made him full of fighting spirit. He did not want to lose this battle. Whoosh, whoosh. The blood-red light in Lin Feng's eyes became deeper and deeper. His consciousness was completely immersed in the power of the Nightmare Skull. Lin Feng pursed his lips. The fierce battle made him more immersed in the Dark Devil path. Again and again. In the Origin Star realm, Lin Feng's dark heart kept expanding. His comprehension of the Dark Devil path was like seeing a new world. As Lin Feng continued to comprehend in the battle, the ferocious image of the devil became clearer and clearer. All of a sudden, Lin Feng's body shook violently. Roar! After being stabbed by Qin Qing the Dark Devil path's blood was stimulated. Lin Feng's eyes turned red. The raging power in his body condensed, and a terrifying aura spread. At this moment, Lin Feng understood. His 100 years of cultivation were fully unleashed at this moment. The blood in his body seemed to be boiling. As the Dark Devil path's cultivation reached the 6th level, the Origin Star realm changed dramatically and entered the Silver Heart level. Lin Feng's body improved again. Roar! The golden dragon rose into the sky. The moment he broke through to the Silver Heart level, Lin Feng's hateful sky form was perfectly upgraded. It transformed from the first form to the second form. His power suddenly increased. Chapter 1341. A breakthrough in the middle of a battle? All the saints felt it. Qin Wushou had already stood up, his eyes shining. Normally, it was impossible to make a breakthrough in the middle of a battle, so there was no rule in the Dongguang Genius battle. Moreover, a breakthrough in strength needed time to settle. For example, the light heart and the dark heart couldn't be achieved overnight. It would take at least hundreds of years of cultivation to expand. It was the same in the Origin Star realm. The instantaneous increase in strength was at most a sensory enhancement. The elevation of life level and heart cultivation was of little help to one's combat strength. Lin Feng was the same. After reaching the Silver Heart level, his increase in strength came from the improvement of his cultivation of the Way of the Dark Devil, which led to the transformation of the Hateful Heaven form. The second form of the Hateful Heaven. At this time, Lin Feng seemed to have turned into the Hateful Heaven demon. His amazing body increased again, breaking the rules. With the help of the golden body of the true dragon, Lin Feng's physical strength was top-notch even among the saints. Breaking through the way with strength. Qin Qing frowned slightly and immediately fell into a passive position. She was strong at the peak of the 11th level of the Heart of the Sword, but the power of her moves was not as strong as Lin Feng's. Her body was weaker, but the combination of the powerful chaotic whole dark treasure and the weapon could make up for it. Her comprehension of the way and the power of her bloodline made her a complete victory. But now Lin Feng's body became stronger, which led to the power of the 7 blue saber. It reversed the situation and suppressed Qin Qing. As a powerful chaotic whole dark treasure, the Nightmare Skull exhausted Qin Qing's advantage in comprehension of the way. 100 Lotus Bloom. Qin Qing's beautiful face was very serious. The holy light shrouded the area, and the white lotuses bloomed one after another. The essence of the Heavenly Way sword technique was revealed at this moment. The light marrow bloodline enveloped the 100 white lotuses, further increasing the power of the Heavenly Way sword technique. The arena turned into a lotus pond, beautiful beyond compare. Right at this moment, a terrifying lightning unicorn that was covered in lightning charged in and broke this silence. Howl! The roar was like thunder, and the rolling thunder and lightning collided with the beautiful white lotuses. Beams of cold light pierced through the lotus pond. Lin Feng's eyes were burning red. The second form of the hateful heaven and the thunder unicorn combined perfectly. Mind and spirit as one. Lin Feng had found the vague concept of the thunder beast stone sculpture and understood a part of its essence. Although he was still unable to understand the third move, it was enough to greatly increase the power of the thunder beast saber technique. The first and second moves were a perfect combination. In the first place, the lightning beast's attacks shouldn't be separated. Instead, they should complement each other. Lin Feng's overbearing aura combined with his indestructible claws made him look like a ferocious beast. He attacked again and again, which frightened Qin Qing more and more. The White Lotus Pond was in danger. I will not lose. Qin Qing's beautiful face was filled with stubbornness. She did not believe that she would lose. Since her debut, she had been the brightest star and the greatest genius of the Donghuang Empire. Every time the royal family selected her, she was the brightest one. But now, boom! Lin Feng's earth-shattering saber attack shattered all of Qin Qing's pride. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes, which were as clear as water, were filled with shock, unwillingness, and disappointment. In the end, Qin Qing's sword technique was defeated by Lin Feng's blade technique. Her white dress fluttered in the air, and Qin Qing's beautiful face lost its color. She had lost. At the last moment, Lin Feng's saber heart crossed the boundary and entered the 11th level, which completely destroyed her remaining advantage. Bang! Qin Qing's defeat shocked the whole audience. Many pairs of stunned eyes opened their mouths to cheer for Qin Qing. They could not close their mouth. The goddess in their hearts had fallen to the mortal world and was completely shattered by a young man with a saber. Lin Feng wins. Yuluan Saint announced the final result. In an instant the audience gasped. On the side of the auditorium, the geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall, who were holding the huge banner, were extremely shocked. At the same time, they were extremely excited. They screamed to express their joy. They had won. They had won. No one was optimistic about them, but they had won. Lin Feng. Lin Feng. Lin Feng. As the voice of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall resounded throughout the Donghuang Empire, everyone in the Milky Way Dark Network witnessed the birth of the champion. Lin Feng, as a dark horse, had consecutively defeated all the experts. He looked down on all the juniors. Haha, I told you, Lin Feng would definitely win. Don't say that in hindsight. Who was the one who had been pessimistic about Lin Feng and listened to Yu Yong's nonsense that Lin Feng could not even enter the competition? Come on, he is the champion. Haven't you heard that the more wine is brewed, the more fragrant it will be? That's right, come out, Yu Yong. Are you mute? Why are you so quiet now? What did you say before? Lin Feng was not qualified to participate in the competition? You want to replace Lin Feng in the competition? Haha, what a joke. I say, why are you arguing with that idiot? Are you going to be as stupid as him? At this moment, Yu Yong's face was flushed red, and he did not dare to show his face. He had never thought that Lin Feng could really win the championship, which was a slap to his face. As Lin Feng won the championship, his notoriety spread far and wide, and he became a street rat. Slandering Lin Feng? He was now the pride of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall, the idol of all the genius warriors. Yu Yong, who was covered in dust, looked as if he had aged by dozens of eras. Not only did he lose his reputation, but he also lost all his cosmos crystals. He wanted to prove that Lin Feng was useless, so he bet all his assets on Qin Qing. Now, he had nothing left. Unlike Yu Yong, the geniuses of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall struck it rich this time. Because of their willfulness, they all bet a lot of cosmos crystals, and many of them bet all their assets like Yu Yong. Now, as Lin Feng won the championship, all of them made a fortune. The odds were close to 110. It was quite exaggerated. Haha, I'm rich, I'm rich. Betting on Lin Feng is definitely the wisest thing I've done in my life. You're so stingy. Your money is nothing. I bet all my assets, ha ha ha. You're envious, aren't you? It's too late for regrets now. Damn it, I should have bet all my money. Who would have thought that Lin Feng could really win? But fortunately, I bet a lot. Great returns. In the internal network of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall, everyone was jubilant. No matter how much they bet, more than 90% of the disciples had bet. Lin Feng's victory brought prosperity to the entire 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall. Most importantly, Lin Feng represented the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall to win the championship. The 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall had not won the championship for more than a dozen years. They had even missed the top 3 battles for a few years. This time, they could finally wash away their dejection. Lin Feng's appearance had once again boosted the reputation of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall. This was the strongest force in the Dongwang Empire. Lin Feng, the number 1 silver core in the Dongwang Empire. Chapter 1342. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Number 1. What kind of title was that? How powerful was that? But Lin Feng's victory was well deserved. Monarch Qin Wushou showed a satisfied smile and applauded Lin Feng. The audience also applauded to congratulate Lin Feng for winning the Dongwang Genius Battle. At the same time, "Get married! Get married! Get married!" The group of disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Arts Hall, who were holding banners fearlessly, suddenly shouted in unison. Instantly there was a burst of joy. Many people who were waiting to watch a good show also shouted. In an instant, the resounding sound made Qin Qing Er's face and neck red. She had lost. According to her master's promise, if she lost, then, Lin Feng, what do you think? Monarch Qin Wushou said with a smile. At this time, he was very amiable. Prince Yushu, who was beside him, didn't think it was a big deal and blinked meaningfully. Obviously, as long as Lin Feng nodded, Monarch Qin Wushou would be the matchmaker. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. Although the rules allowed me to win the Dongwang Genius Battle, my breakthrough during the battle and my improvement to the Silver Heart level was actually a small advantage. I didn't really defeat Qin Qing so it doesn't count. Qin Qing was slightly stunned. She thought that Lin Feng would directly accept the monarch, because according to Lin Feng's performance before, he clearly. She pursed her lips and looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression. Qin Qing's heart was in turmoil. If Lin Feng accepted the monarch's betrothal, she would fulfill her promise. But she just fulfilled it. Qin Qing didn't have a good impression of Lin Feng, and she didn't like Lin Feng. But now, because of Lin Feng's rejection and what he said, the image of Lin Feng in her heart had unconsciously changed. She even felt an indescribable sense of loss in her heart. Qin Qing was very prideful. She knew her own strength, and she knew even more about her alluring beauty. Therefore, when she was rejected at this moment, she had mixed feelings. "Thank you," Qin Qing said to Lin Feng. Lin Feng was slightly stunned, but he immediately understood. He smiled and said, "I'm telling the truth." Her white dress was fluttering in the wind, which made Qin Qing look even more perfect. Her face without makeup showed her snow-white skin, making her look like a fairy descending to the mortal world. She was so beautiful. 100 years later, let's fight again. If I lose, everyone in the Dongwang Empire can testify. I, Qin Qing am willing to marry Lin Feng. Everyone was silent. It was the first time that Qin Qing had said something like that in front of someone else. 100 years later, with Qin Qing's talent, she would naturally reach the Silver Heart level. By then, there would be no reason for her to fight with Lin Feng again. Both of them would be at the Silver Heart level, so it would be fair to win or lose. After saying that, Qin Qing danced gracefully and left. This battle had a deep impact on her. "I have faith in you." Monarch Qin Wushou patted Lin Feng's shoulder with a smile. Prince Yushu gave him a thumbs up and left with Monarch Qin Wushou. Lin Feng smiled helplessly. 100 years later? He didn't expect Qin to say that. If I lose this time, it seems that she will really marry me. Lin Feng murmured to himself and shook his head with a bitter smile. Qin was indeed beautiful, but he couldn't marry all the beautiful girls. The most important thing for a couple was whether they had feelings for each other. But he and Qin didn't have feelings for each other. That was why Lin Feng rejected monarch Qin Wushuo's proposal and saved Qin's face. 100 years later, I think I'd better avoid her. Lin Feng felt helpless. He couldn't afford to offend her, but he could avoid her. With the winner between Lin Feng and Qin, the Dongwang genius battle officially came to an end in heated discussions. Monarch Qin Wushuo personally awarded a Chaos Whole Profound Treasure. As the champion, Lin Feng received a top-grade Chaos Whole Profound Treasure. The only top-grade Chaos Whole Profound Treasure. The third one. Lin Feng looked at the Chaos Whole Profound Treasure in his hand, which was shaped like a snowflake. It was a light elemental Chaos Whole Profound Treasure. For now, he didn't have any connection with it. His cultivation of light wasn't high. As senior sister said, this top-grade Chaos Whole Profound Treasure was prepared for Qin. Lin Feng knew that the Chaos Whole Profound Treasure would be powerful in Qin's hands. However, it wasn't bad for him to keep it. Although it can't be compatible with me, I can slowly refine it after I become a saint. Lin Feng cultivated the great Tao of light, so he didn't reject it. Top-grade Chaos Whole Profound Treasures were rare even for saint. It was a rare item. Although it could unleash 120% or 150% of its power, it could still unleash 100% of its power after refining it. I've just reached the Silver Heart level, but I already have 3 Chaos Whole Profound Treasures. Lin Feng was very satisfied. Each one was stronger than the last. He now had 2 powerful Chaos Whole Profound Treasures and 1 top-grade Chaos Whole Profound Treasure. His wealth was almost comparable to that of Crane Saint's teacher. The Dongwang genius battle came to an end. As the champion, Lin Feng naturally received a lot of attention. He was famous throughout the Dongwang Empire. However, Lin Feng didn't take advantage of this opportunity to make a name for himself. After the Dongwang genius battle ended, he returned to Crane Saint Planet No. 5 and continued to cultivate. Fame and fortune were just worldly possessions. Lin Feng was very clear. So what if he had a status like monarch Qin Wushuo's? The solar system was a well. Wasn't the Milky Way also a well? Powerful people like his teacher Monarch True Dragon, the master of Black Field, and the strongest black hole level were incomparable in the vast universe. Above black hole level experts, there were almighty masters. Above almighty masters, there were transcendental existences called supremacies. He knew of a supremacy. He was a life form born in the 10,000 origin mustard stone during the chaotic era of the universe. He was Yuan's grandfather, Supremacy Yuan. However, even someone as strong as Supremacy Yuan wasn't invincible in the vast universe. The universe was too vast. Now, he was nothing at all. When one's strength reached the black hole level, one could pass through the black hole and travel in the universe. Only then could one truly be considered a part of the universe. Cultivate. Lin Feng was full of fighting spirit. He wanted to become stronger, stronger than his teacher, and even stronger than Supremacy Yuan. A man should have a relentless fighting spirit. Time passed day by day. Lin Feng was busy expanding the Source Astral Realm and improving the Light Core, Dark Core, and Thunder Core to 10 million times. This was a vast process. If he relied on cultivation, it would take at least a few thousand years. Just the expansion of the Source Astral Realm was already incredible. 100 million mental strength. Even with an endless supply of Aeon crystals, it still took Lin Feng 3 years to complete it. Feeling the abundant energy in his body, Lin Feng smiled. Now, he had officially become a Silver Heart expert. Strength, battle strength. Even if he only used the first form of hating the heavens, he could still defeat Qin Qin. Lin Feng just came out of seclusion and saw a familiar person. It was Prince Yushu. At this moment, his expression was a bit solemn. Chapter 1343. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Young master, Prince Yushu has been waiting for a long time. White Commander said. Lin Feng nodded his head and the White Commander retreated. Although Prince Yushu and Lin Feng were close friends, he knew when to disturb and when not to. Fortunately, Brother Lin's training time is short. I thought I would have to wait for 8 to 10 years. Although he was joking, Prince Yushu's face was still serious. Prince, you must be joking. What happened? Lin Feng and Prince Yushu sat down on the stone chair. Brother Lin, something big has happened. Prince Yushu looked at Lin Feng and said in a low voice, the galaxy super black hole has entered the second stage. The second stage? Lin Feng was slightly taken aback, and his eyes instantly widened. The second stage of the decay period? Lin Feng's eyelids twitched and his heartbeat quickened. Although he was mentally prepared, he was still shocked. Previously, the galaxy super black hole had been in the first stage of the decay period. But the first and second stages were completely different. After entering the decay period, the galaxy super black hole's energy supply to the Milky Way would gradually decrease. It would first replenish itself. But at this stage, the energy it devoured would still exceed the energy it consumed. But in the second stage, the energy it devoured would be equal to the energy it consumed. At this time, the galaxy super black hole would no longer replenish the Milky Way. In the third stage, the energy it devoured would be less than the energy it consumed. The galaxy super black hole would absorb its own energy until the energy was exhausted. Then, the galaxy super black hole would enter the death period. Brother Lin, you should know that the second stage is just a transition. The time is very short. It will enter the third stage soon. Prince Yushu looked serious. The detection devices of the 7 empires have lost all energy detection of the galaxy super black hole. Lin Feng took a light breath. His heart was like a raging storm. This news was too shocking. Although his teacher had mentioned that the galaxy super black hole would enter the second stage soon, he did not expect it to be so fast. From the second stage onwards, the galaxy super black hole's decay rate would enter a sharp decline. Because its energy was limited, as the Milky Way super black hole continued to wither, the devouring power of the Milky Way super black hole became smaller and smaller. Naturally, the replenishment became lesser and lesser, and the consumption rate increased, forming a vicious cycle. How long does the Milky Way have left? Lin Feng looked directly at Prince Yushu. According to the 7 great empires' estimates, the second phase will last for about an era, and then enter the third phase. Within 10 eras, the energy of the Milky Way super black hole will be exhausted, and it will enter the period of death. Prince Yushu's voice was firm but helpless. That feeling was like knowing that he was going to die, but he couldn't stop it. In other words, the Milky Way only has 11 eras of lifespan left. Lin Feng frowned. 11 eras, which was 110,000 years. It was a long time for humans on Earth, but it was a meager amount in the Milky Way galaxy. Even the most ordinary silver spiral cosmic system states had a lifespan of 30 eras. Saints even had a lifespan of 1,000 eras. The 11th era? It was only equivalent to a long period of cultivation. Almost. No matter how I estimate, the lifespan of the Milky Way will not exceed 20 eras. Prince Yushu sighed. I did not expect to face death right after I became the crown prince. If the Milky Way galaxy was gone, the 7 great empires would naturally disappear. There was only one way to survive. Leave the Milky Way galaxy. Lin Feng pursed his lips and nodded. So now, everyone should be squeezing into the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. The ancient Myriad World's secret realm which only opened once every few hundred eras, was the last hope of the Milky Way galaxy. Prince Yushu nodded. With the arrival of the second phase, some of the hidden secret realms in the ancient myriad world's secret realm have been shaken out. Although the danger has increased, the opportunities have increased by several times. Lin Feng understood. The Milky Way super black hole had entered the second phase, which basically meant that it had to find a place to store its energy and absorb it. The ancient myriad world's secret realm was naturally shaken out. Prince, don't tell me you want to go in too? Lin Feng suddenly understood. Not only me, the other princes have already gone in. Prince Yushu shrugged and laughed. Compared to the throne, staying alive is more important. The ancient myriad world's secret realm is the last chance. Lin Feng nodded. The prince was also a human. If he missed this opportunity, he would be waiting for death. So you are here to ask me to go in with you? Lin Feng suddenly understood. Prince Yushu nodded. I don't trust the others, but you are my friend. I trust you. I am not a prince in front of you now. I am just an ordinary Silver Heart Realm warrior. Qin Yushu, I wonder if Brother Lin will do me the honor? 8 years ago, after Prince Yushu lost to Qin Qing he immediately broke through and became a Silver Heart Realm warrior. For a prince of the royal family, a pile of sacred fruits could create a Silver Heart Realm warrior. This was nothing. Lin Feng smiled. Prince Yushu knew very well that Lin Feng would not reject him. Indeed, there were many saints and even sage kings in the royal family. But in the end, it was just a matter of taking what they needed. After entering the ancient myriad world's secret realm, who cared if you were a prince or not? I promise you. Lin Feng nodded. Even if Prince Yushu did not ask, Lin Feng wanted to take a look at the ancient myriad world's secret realm. Especially now that it was so lively and full of opportunities, it would be too boring if he did not enter. The Milky Way galaxy only had 11 eras left, which meant that Earth also had 11 eras left. It would be a lie if he said that he was not worried. After all, as the lord of the territory of Huaxiao, he had to take responsibility. Enter the ancient myriad world's secret realm and see if there is any way. At least, become a black hole realm warrior in the next 11 eras. I will ask Zhao then. Lin Feng thought to himself. Zhao had said that he would look for him when he reached the black hole realm. I know that Brother Lin is a straightforward person. Loyalty comes first. Prince Yushu revealed a smile. I won't hide it from Brother Lin. Besides you, I have also contacted 2 other martial artists. They are both like-minded individuals, elites at the Silver Heart level. Their strength is no less than yours or mine. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. He trusted Prince Yushu's judgment. Then it's settled. 7 days later, we will depart from my residence in the capital. Prince Yushu said. I will be there on time. Lin Feng replied. The two bade farewell. 7 days later, Lin Feng made some preparations. After all, he was going to enter the ancient myriad world's secret realm. He could not afford to be careless. In there, even saints could fall. I wonder how teacher and senior sister are doing. 7 days later, Lin Feng headed to the capital. Danger and opportunity coexisted. Lin Feng was looking forward to entering the ancient myriad world's secret realm. Chapter 1344. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The capital of the empire was prosperous. This was the capital of the Dongwang Empire, where the most powerful people gathered. Saints who couldn't be seen in other star regions could often be seen here. The imperial capital was still packed with people, but he could no longer sense the aura of the saints in the imperial capital. Almost all the saints flocked to the ancient thousand-world secret realm. This was their last chance. We urgently need a Silver Heart Realm cultivator. The team already has 6 Silver Heart Realm cultivators, and the captain is ranked as the king of the arena. We only recruit Silver Heart Realm cultivators. Demons and humans don't disturb us. Come sincerely. There are still 3 vacancies in the 18 Demon Alliance. Only Demon Clan cultivators, Silver Heart Realm cultivators with powerful bloodline will have priority. It was bustling outside the teleportation point in the capital of the Empire. Countless nebula states had gathered here and formed teams to enter the ancient thousand-world secret realm. Not only the Dongwang Empire, but also the Silver Martial Empire, the Barbarian Empire, and the Tianhuan Empire. Nebula states were far inferior to Saints in terms of strength and survival ability. They could only make up for it in numbers. Usually, a team of 3 to 7 people was the most suitable. If there were too many of them, there would be conflict. Lin Feng didn't expect it to be so crowded. He passed through the crowd and entered a magnificent building not far from the teleportation point. Only those who were Duke and above could enter. Silver Heart Realm cultivators were usually nobles. Silver Heart Realm cultivators could become Duke if they lived in the Dongwang Empire for a certain period of time or if someone recommended them. Lin Feng didn't need to be mentioned. Hall 302, it's here. Lin Feng quickly found the location. There was a white screen door in front of him. Lin Feng took out his identity card and pressed it on the detector next to the door. Beep, identity verification successful. The screen turned from white to green and Lin Feng entered. If one entered without verifying their identity, they would be attacked by thousands of lightning bolts. This was no joke. If Lin Feng didn't use his Heaven Hatred form and True Dragon Golden Body, it would be difficult to resist. Of course, such a defense system was basically useless against Saints. Whoosh! After entering Hall 302, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. It was a man and a woman. The man was handsome, wearing a silver armor and a tiger's soul helmet. His eyes were bright as he looked at them. It was Prince Yushu. Haha, Brother Lin is so punctual. Prince Yushu laughed heartily. Lin Feng greeted Prince Yushu with a smile. Then, he looked at the beautiful woman and was slightly surprised. She was dressed in a white robe and looked like a fairy in the clouds. She was elegant and otherworldly. Her beautiful face gave people a kind of deep lake, indifferent, calm, and composed. She was completely different from Qin Qing-er. Qin Qing-er was like a blooming peony, elegant and graceful. The woman in white seemed to be cultivating in seclusion in a Taoist temple in a secluded valley. She was so calm that it was almost impossible to sense her existence. She is? Lin Feng exclaimed, teacher from Shueyun Club? Prince Yushu was startled. The beautiful woman was also slightly surprised. Her indifferent face showed a touch of surprise. She nodded slightly. I don't deserve to be called a teacher. Just call me Shueyun. Prince Yushu smiled. Seems like you know each other. More than that. Lin Feng sighed and smiled. I have attended all of Teacher Shueyun Club's virtual video classes. I have benefited a lot. When he first entered the Milky Way Black Network, he had watched Teacher Shueyun Club's classes. It was easy to understand and fascinating. The reason why he could cultivate so quickly was because of Teacher Shueyun Club's teachings. She was only a teacher back then, but now she was a Silver Heart elite. It was not surprising. For an elite with such a thorough understanding of the path of mystery, it was easy for her to become a Silver Heart elite. It was not even difficult for her to become a Black Hole elite. You flatter me. Shueyun Club only knows how to talk on paper. My meager understanding has made you laugh. Shueyun Club said softly. There was a slight ripple on his calm face. Clearly, Shueyun Club was very pleased with Lin Feng's praise. As a teacher, the happiest thing was not when others said how strong she was, but when others acknowledged her teachings. Brother Lin, you have a good eye. Teacher Shueyun is famous in the Dongwang Empire. She was already the chief teacher when she was still a Silver Core elite. Now, her position in the Silver Heart elite is as stable as a rock. Prince Yushu introduced. Of course, Teacher Shueyun's strength is not bad at all. She is ranked 88th in the Silver Heart Elite King Arena. This is because Teacher Shueyun is not good at fighting. In terms of experience, knowledge, secret techniques, and knowledge, Teacher Shueyun is definitely one of the best in the Donghuang Empire. Prince Yushu continued to introduce the place. Lin Feng soon met his second teammate in the ancient Myriad World Secret Realm, who was also the team leader of this trip, Shueyun. In terms of knowledge and experience, Shueyun deserved to be the team leader. She was ranked 88th in the Silver Heart Elite King Arena. She was a ruler. Unlike the Silver Core Elite King Arena ranking, the Silver Heart Elite King Arena ranking was very important. The top 10,000 warriors had the strength of a saint, and the top 100 warriors had the strength of a middle saint. Although Lin Feng had now upgraded to the Silver Heart level, the increase in his combat strength was not so obvious. He was probably equivalent to a lower saint. As for Prince Yushu, his combat strength was indeed inferior. He was only equivalent to the top of the Silver Heart level. However, his abilities were balanced in all aspects, and he was a jack of all trades. If Lin Feng wanted to form a team himself, he would naturally choose the genius disciples of the 100 Saints Martial Palace. In contrast, Lin Feng was more confident in Prince Yushu. Prince Yushu was very good at judging people. Whoosh, a dark green light flashed, and a beautiful figure appeared at the gate. It was the second teammate that Prince Yushu had mentioned before. Although Lin Feng had thought about it before, he was still surprised when he saw her in person. Qin Qing Lin Feng? They were opponents in the Donghuang Genius battle, and they were not friends. When they met again, they were still at loggerheads. It was as if they had returned to the moment when they had the final battle 3 years ago. Like Lin Feng, Qin Qing was now a Silver Heart elite. With the resources of the royal family, Qin Qing improvement was rapid. Haha, you don't need to be introduced. Prince Yushu laughed and relaxed the atmosphere. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes glared at Prince Yushu, but the latter turned his face away. He was thick-skinned. Lin Feng also smiled. In the hall, the team of 4 gathered. Shueyun was the leader. She gave each of them 3 love stones as a contact. Soon, the team of 4 went to the ancient boundary through the transmission formation. Although Lin Feng is a burden, our team is very good-looking. How about we call ourselves the High Face Team? No. Chapter 1345. Lin Feng and the other 3 set off from the capital and soon arrived at the Aeon boundary. Crossing this boundary meant that they were less than 1,000th of a light year away from the Aeon boundary. An ordinary saint could reach it with a single teleportation. Compared to 30 years ago when the Aeon boundary first opened, the Aeon boundary was overcrowded now. There are 3 types of dangers in the Aeon boundary. The first type is the most inhumane, but it will cause a large number of deaths among saints and nebula states. This is especially true for the 7 empires that have feuds with each other. For example, the Barbarian Empire and the Tianhuan Empire, the Thousand Demon Empire and the Vile Empire. Shueyun looked indifferent as she explained. Is it the Donghuang Empire? Lin Feng asked. Yes, the Silver Martial Empire, but they don't have a deep grudge against each other. They are just competing to be the head of the 7 empires, Shueyun said. Also, be careful of the Barbarian Empire and the Vile Empire. These 2 empires have the most demon race experts and hate humans the most. They are the most bloodthirsty. Lin Feng and the other 2 nodded. The demon race was known for their belligerence. The second type of danger is also not to be underestimated. It comes from the tearing force of the Milky Way super black hole itself. Shueyun said, although the black hole is currently asleep, there is still about a 10,000th of its tearing force in various places. Ordinary tearing forces are not dangerous, but there is more than one type of tearing force. The Milky Way super black hole is more likely to erupt suddenly. Usually, there will be signs of an eruption, unless it is a large-scale tearing force storm, the collapse of the secret realm, or death devouring. If one is unlucky, even a saint cannot escape. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. After all, the Aeon boundary was inside the Milky Way super black hole. No one knew what would happen. He had looked through the information. Under normal circumstances, it was an ordinary tearing force that could be completely blocked. However, sometimes there would be major disasters in the Aeon boundary, disasters that could not be stopped. However, the chances of it happening were not high. The third type is the void-devouring beast. Looking at the surprised crowd, Shui Yun paused and said, "It is normal that you have not heard of it. The void-devouring beast is usually in the depths of the Aeon boundary. If a saint does not go deep, he may not be able to see it." Void-devouring beast is a beast? Qin Qing's beautiful eyes flashed. Shui Yun shook her head. Space devourer beasts can only be found in the eternal infinite world's secret realms, in other words, black holes. They are also a type of life form, a space life form, Shui Yun said. Have you heard of the pyramid of laws? Upper-level laws, middle-level laws, and low-level laws? Qin Qing asked. Shui Yun nodded. By cultivating the elemental energy of heaven and earth to the extreme, one will be able to obtain the power of laws, enough to split the heavens and earth and move the stars. Amongst them, the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth are the inferior laws. Yin and Yang are the intermediate laws. Light, darkness, lightning, wind, and earth are the superior laws. The fusion laws are another matter altogether. Let's take the origin of cloud thunder as an example. Once one's cultivation reaches the 7th level of the origin sea and successfully condenses the origin sea, the superior laws of cloud thunder will be considered a minor accomplishment. The Tao of laws is divided into small success, large success, peak success, extreme perfection, and great perfection. When you comprehend lesser level laws to the level of perfection, intermediate level laws to the level of perfection, and upper level laws to the level of apex, you will be able to comprehend 2 heaven level laws: the laws of space and the laws of time. This is the pyramid of laws. Lin Feng nodded his head in understanding. Shui Yun was indeed the chief instructor of the Donghuang Empire. She was very knowledgeable. Black holes are also life forms in the universe. They are of the same level as white holes. Their level of life is much higher than that of planets and stars. Black holes contain a lot of space energy. The space-swallowing beast is a unique life form born from the space heart formed by the life force of a black hole. It is born with the ability to control space energy. The space-swallowing beast has no soul, so it can't comprehend other laws except for the law of space. Even so, it is already very terrifying. Because it can't comprehend other laws, the universe gives it the ability to devour. It has the same characteristics as a black hole. However, unlike a black hole, the space-swallowing beast devours souls. It can comprehend laws by devouring souls. Shui Yun's tone was very calm. But both Lin Feng and Qin Qing were shocked. It was the first time they had heard of such an ability. Comprehend laws by devouring souls? What a terrifying talent! Lin Feng took a deep breath. It was indeed a strange life form born in a black hole. It was already very powerful to comprehend the law of space, but it could also comprehend laws by devouring souls. Because the law of space is a heaven-rank law, the top of the pyramid of laws, the space-swallowing beast can directly comprehend other laws? Lin Feng asked. That's right. Shui Yun nodded slightly. Suddenly, she shook her head. But the heaven-rank law is not the top of the pyramid of laws. Lin Feng was stunned. Well, don't ask so much. The saint is here. It's time for us to go in, Shui Yun said softly. Following her gaze, Lin Feng immediately saw an acquaintance. It was Saint Yuluan, the host of the Donghuang Genius Battle. Teacher. Prince Yushu bowed. Prince, you don't have to be so polite. Saint Yuluan walked over with a smile, causing a commotion. Many pairs of eyes looked over with hope and hope. The teams of cosmic system warriors who stayed here were all waiting for the saint to appear. To enter the ancient thousand-world secret realm, one could only rely on teleportation. Although it was less than 1,000th of a light-year away, even the best spaceship in the Milky Way could not resist the terrifying tearing force of a black hole. There was a world of difference between a cosmic system and a black hole. "Greetings, Saint." Lin Feng and the other two followed suit and bowed. Saint Yuluan was a middle-level saint after all, and he was quite famous in the Dongwang Empire. As a junior, he naturally had to bow. "There are only 4 of you?" Saint Yuluan glanced over and was slightly surprised. "Quality is more important than quantity." Prince Yushu smiled. Lin Feng understood. Obviously, the teams of the other princes were more spectacular than Prince Yushu's. However, as Prince Yushu said, it did not mean that there were more people entering the ancient thousand-world secret realm. "That's true. Although there are only 4 of you, you are all very good." Saint Yuluan's eyes were filled with admiration. Needless to say, Lin Feng and Qin Qing were the top elites of the younger generation that Saint Yuluan thought highly of. They had shown amazing strength in the Dongwang Genius Battle and were comparable to Saint. Then, the group chatted for a while. Saint Yuluan waved his hand, and a gust of wind energy shrouded the 4 of them. In an instant, the surrounding space changed, and with a whoosh, they disappeared into the ancient thousand-world boundary. Soon, swoosh, 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 4 figures appeared one after another. As they regained their mobility, a powerful tearing force came, and Lin Feng's eyes lit up. They had arrived. This was the ancient thousand-world secret realm. Chapter 1346. What a shocking elemental energy! Lin Feng was shocked. Even without the body of light and darkness bloodline, he could clearly sense the light and darkness origin energy. If he activated the body of light and darkness, his sensing ability would be at least 10 times stronger than outside. Moreover, the elemental origin here gave off a strong feeling, as if it contained some kind of law system. There was an existence stronger than the elemental energy that controlled this area. "It's the Space Tao," Lin Feng said. In terms of energy level, there was a huge difference between the star grade and the nebula grade. There was also a qualitative difference between the nebula grade and the black hole grade. It was precisely because of the existence of the Space Tao that the elemental origin was unusually strong. Cultivating here would undoubtedly be twice the result with half the effort. Including Captain Shueyun, it was their first time entering a black hole, so they were naturally curious. Although they had done some homework before coming, their feelings were rather complicated when they actually entered the black hole. That was a black hole. It was a behemoth that could devour galaxies. Not only did the ancient myriad world secret realm exist in a black hole, but even the entire Milky Way could be said to be in a black hole. For example, the other parts of the human body, such as cells, skin, bones, and so on, were the entire Milky Way. The ancient myriad world secret realm was the part that stored the nutrients in the heart. The Milky Way super black hole was the heart of the Milky Way. When the nutrients were exhausted and the heart stopped beating, what awaited the Milky Way would be death. Yuluan Saint didn't say anything and just looked at everyone quietly. Wasn't it the same when he first entered? Looking at Lin Feng and the other 3 was like looking at himself in the past. Suddenly, hundreds of eras had passed. Now, he was facing the end of his life. This was also his last chance. "Okay, let's not stay here. Let's go." Yuluan Saint's eyes flashed as he said. Everyone immediately came back to their senses. Prince Yushu couldn't help but ask, "Where are we going, teacher?" "Jade Realm." The Jade Mirror was a huge piece of stellar debris. Its surface was green like jade, and its hardness was 10,000 times stronger than diamond. Even a nebula-grade powerhouse would find it difficult to completely destroy it. This huge land near the edge of the ancient myriad world secret realm was the first stop for martial artists who had just entered the ancient myriad world secret realm. "So many people!" Prince Yushu exclaimed. Lin Feng's eyes also lit up. At a glance, there were at least tens of thousands of experts. It was extremely shocking. They were basically all cosmic system states, and there were even star states. Lin Feng was dazed, but he immediately understood that cultivating here was faster. Although star states couldn't resist the tearing force of the black hole, they could rely on treasures. The tearing force of the ancient myriad worlds' secret realms increases exponentially. This is the outermost zone, the first zone. There is only 1/10,000th of the tearing force, so the danger level is the lowest. The deeper you go, the stronger the tearing force. When it reaches 1,000th, 100th, or even 1/10th, even I won't be able to withstand it. Yuluan Saint led the way. The aura of a saint was released invisibly, causing all the warriors on the jade mirror to raise their eyebrows. When they saw the four people behind Saint Yuluan, they instantly exploded. It's Prince Yushu. And Qin Qing an instructor from Aqua Cloud Club. No way, even Lin Feng is here. The Dongwang Genius battle was so fierce. I didn't expect them to have such a good relationship in private. They even formed a team. I envy Lin Feng so much. He can team up with two super beauties, Shui Yun and Qin Qing. Qin Qing is really beautiful. She is much more beautiful in real life than in the Galaxy Dark Network. I think the instructor from Aqua Cloud Club is more beautiful. She is out of this world, mature and generous. This was the foothold of the Dongwang Empire warriors, and most of them were cosmic system states. Not long after the Dongwang Genius battle, Lin Feng and the other two won first, second, and third place, so they were very recognizable. As for Shui Yun, she was the chief instructor of the Dongwang Empire. Countless warriors had watched her virtual video tutorials. Even Lin Feng and Prince Yushu had learned from her. Most importantly, Shui Yun and Qin Qing were too beautiful. Both of them had their own unique temperaments and were equally beautiful. Instantly, the Jade Realm had an additional beautiful scenery. Many people looked at Lin Feng with envy. The news that the galaxy super black hole has entered the second stage of its decline has spread. Yuluan Saint said, "This news is hard to stop, so a large number of cosmic system states suddenly came in the past 2 years. Although it is dangerous to cultivate here, no one can care so much now. I believe there will be more cosmic system states entering in the future." Lin Feng and the others nodded. The Milky Way only had 11 eras left. If they did not fight hard now, they would be waiting for death. However, their influx has little impact. Yuluan Saint said, "We have basically divided the ancient myriad world secret realm into 4 major areas. Most of the cosmic system states can only move in the first area, which is 1 in 10,001 in 1,000 of the black hole's tearing force. Although this area is the largest, there are few treasures and almost no secret." Yuluan Saint pointed at a skinny man not far away. "Look, he is selling a map. The map records more than 99% of the areas in the first area." Lin Feng and the others were enlightened. Although the first area was large, there were many people exploring it. Naturally, there were no secret. Of course, nothing is certain. It's just relative. Yuluan Saint said, "After entering the second area, the opportunities will greatly increase. After all, only a very small number of cosmic system states can enter the second area." Yuluan Saint paused and said, "For example, you guys." Lin Feng nodded. In the second area, the tearing force of the black hole was 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 100. He should be able to resist it with his body, but that was pretty much his limit. In the third area, there are even fewer people. Ordinary saints can't resist that terrifying tearing force, especially in the depths of the third area. It is rather dangerous. Once, a Saint King died there. In the depths of the fourth area, even Saint Kings don't dare to enter easily. According to what I know, most of the Saint Kings are in the third area. Very few enter the fourth area." Yuluan Saint smiled. With your strength, it is most reasonable to enter the second area. Before you have enough strength, don't force yourself to enter the third area. Everyone agreed. Even saints couldn't stop the third area, much less them. The third area, the fourth area. Lin Feng's heart was filled with boundless curiosity. While he was searching, Lin Feng's gaze suddenly shot towards the distance, and his pupils instantly dilated. It was a very familiar figure that he had been searching for. It's him. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Chapter 1347. Listen up. Our Radiant Saint Palace's target this time is planet Huanfan, a tenth of a light year away. A white-robed, middle-aged man with a white glow above his head explained without stopping. In his hand there was a map with the location mark. There were dozens of cosmic system states around him, but their power was uneven. There were silver core states, silver plate states, and even silver whirlpool state. The white-robed man was the strongest at the silver core state. Among the dozens of cosmic system states, there was a man holding a huge sword. He was muscular and had a sun on his forehead that represented his bloodline. He was Qi Hao, who had just joined the Light Saint Palace. He was once the strongest human being on Nemo planet. Miracle Saint King Qi Hao. When he was defeated by Lin Feng that day, he was completely disheartened and entered the silent world. Instead, he accidentally discovered the secret of the Nemo star. He didn't know when the seal of the Nemo star had disappeared. Qi Hao was overjoyed and immediately left Nemo planet. To every powerful being on Nemo planet, it was their lifelong wish to be able to leave that prison. Qi Hao did the same. He didn't go to Earth. Instead, he went in the opposite direction and finally arrived at the border of the Milky Way. After leaving the Milky Way, he came to the Black Wolf Gold Empire like Lin Feng, but he arrived later than Lin Feng. With a strong desire to become stronger, Qi Hao's power increased rapidly. He had an extremely powerful bloodline and was the most outstanding talent on Nemo planet. After entering the Milky Way, his potential was further developed. He went from silver whirlpool to silver plate state, and soon, he entered silver core state. Although he wasn't as freakish as Lin Feng, his shocking cultivation speed still attracted attention. Later, the Holy Palace of Light happened to be recruiting talented disciples in the Black Wolf Gold Empire. Qi Hao went there and successfully joined the Holy Palace of Light. After that, he went around in circles to the Donghuang Empire. Before he could sit down, he was taken to the secret land of ancient Thousand World. Presently, Qi Hao already possessed the strength to sweep through Nemo star. However, he didn't go back because there was no need. Now that he had truly witnessed the vastness of the Milky Way, he realized how insignificant his previous knowledge was. In the Milky Way, even a powerful force like the Black Wolf Gold Empire would perish. As for the civilization on the planets, it would be even more difficult for it to last. The replacement of civilizations and the division and reunification of the big picture were normal phenomena. Go back and protect Nemo planet? He was not in the mood for leisure. To Qi Hao, becoming stronger was his true pursuit, especially when he had just found out that the Milky Way super black hole had entered the second stage of its decline. He was in a precarious situation and could not even take care of himself. Suddenly, he felt a strange gaze. Qi Hao turned around and saw a young man walking towards him. The young man was extremely familiar, and he seemed as if he'd seen the young man somewhere before, yet he was unable to recall where. Wait a minute. He is? Qi Hao's expression suddenly changed. Their eyes met and they both recognized each other. Lin Feng did not expect to see Qi Hao here. After returning to Earth from Nemo planet, he had been on guard against Qi Hao. However, after waiting for a long time, Qi Hao did not appear. He had almost forgotten about Qi Hao. Unfortunately, enemies were bound to meet. Lin Feng. Qi Hao's eyes flashed. The memory of his defeat that day was still fresh in his mind. Now, he had enough strength to take revenge. However, there was no need for that. Hello, we meet again. Chi Hao took the initiative to greet him. Suddenly, he did not know that his greeting had saved his life. Lin Feng did not expect Chi Hao to be so friendly to him. As the saying goes, one does not slap a smiling face. Lin Feng nodded slightly. Hello, what a coincidence! Yes. Chi Hao replied. I just joined the Holy Palace of Light. Lin Feng was a little surprised. Logically speaking, Chi Hao should hate him very much. However, this time it was like they were chatting casually. Instead, it was like they were old friends who had not seen each other for a long time. Is that so? Congratulations, Lin Feng said. You came alone? Chi Hao asked. Lin Feng shook his head. There are 3 other friends. We formed a team. Chi Hao sighed softly, thinking that Lin Feng did not join any forces. He then said, Do you need any help? Lin Feng could not help but laugh. After a slight pause, Lin Feng could not help but ask curiously, You don't want to kill me? There is no enmity between you and me. It's just that we have different standpoints. Chi Hao said indifferently, The rise and fall of the human race on planet Nemo has its own destiny. I have long thought it through. Moreover, we all come from the Milky Way. It's actually a kind of fate to meet in this unfamiliar place. Lin Feng praised in his heart. Previously, he did not really understand Chi Hao. He only knew that he was the strongest human on planet Nemo. Now, he knew him a little. If it was not necessary, Lin Feng did not want to kill him to silence him. Just as Chi Hao said, they just had different standpoints. What a good word. Lin Feng smiled. The killing intent he had for Chi Hao had long disappeared. He could see that every word Chi Hao said came from the bottom of his heart. There was no falsehood. It was better to have more friends than more enemies. I should stay here for a few days. Over there. Lin Feng pointed behind him and said, Come and talk to me if you have the chance. My teammates are waiting for me. I'll go over first. Okay. Chi Hao nodded. Seeing Lin Feng turn around and leave, Chi Hao's expression was calm. To him now, Lin Feng was just a passerby he was familiar with. Turning his head, Chi Hao continued to listen to his master's introduction. However, he was suddenly stunned. At this moment, all the senior brothers, including his master, were focused on him. They looked at him eagerly. What happened to you guys? Chi Hao asked in a daze. Junior brother Chi, do you know Lin Feng? Junior brother Chi, how did you meet Lin Feng? Are you close? In an instant, his seniors and juniors began to chatter and ask, causing Chi Hao to be slightly stunned. Even his master's gaze towards him had a different meaning, and it was filled with admiration. Chi Hao was naturally not stupid. He had a knot in his heart and immediately asked, Master, is Lin Feng very famous? The white-robed man smiled and said, Do you think a disciple of the 100 Saints Martial Palace is famous? The 100 Saints Martial Palace. Chi Hao opened his mouth in shock. He could not believe it. That was the strongest force in the Dongwang Empire. They only accepted geniuses. Lin Feng was so powerful that he could become a member of the 100 Saints Martial Palace? Chi Hao, you joined the sect late. Maybe you don't know. The white-robed man continued. In the Dongwang Genius battle that just ended, Lin Feng defeated a group of strong cultivators and won the championship with his indisputable strength. Dongwang Genius battle? Chi Hao was shocked. That required the top strength of a silver core cultivator. Countless strong cultivators ranked in the King realm gathered together. With his current strength, he was not even qualified to participate. Lin Feng actually won the championship? Was this a joke? Chi Hao was confused and could not come back to his senses. Chapter 1348. After seeing Chi Hao, Lin Feng walked to a place not far away. Although the Jade Realm was huge, it did not have any capsule houses or Sumeru Palace because it could not withstand the tearing force of the black hole. Even the top super defense system of the Dongwang Empire could only defend against attacks below the black hole level. Although there was only 1/10,000th of the tearing force of the black hole, it was always there. Silver Heart level masters could withstand it perfectly with their bodies, and so could the more powerful Silver Core level masters. Other Nebula level masters had to rely on treasures. Where are the saints? Lin Feng walked to where everyone was staying, which was a valley. Teacher went to the second area. We are slow, so we won't be a burden to him, Prince Yushu joked. Lin Feng smiled. The saints could perform teleportation, and the space energy here was abundant, so their speed was much faster. The four of them could only fly slowly. We'll have to rely on ourselves next, Shueyun said. Get used to the tearing force of the black hole first, and make sure it doesn't affect the battle, then we'll set off. Everyone agreed. 1/10,000th of the tearing force of the black hole would always be there, so it was equivalent to being attacked all the time. They had to get used to it first, or it would be difficult to exert their combat power. Lin Feng adapted the fastest. His physical strength was top-notch even among the saints, so he did not care about the tearing force of the black hole. He did not need to deliberately adapt. Basically, he could just ignore it. Shui Yun and Qin Qing are also adapted quickly. Both of them were talented, especially Shui Yun. She had the combat power of a mid-level saint, and was only a little slower than Lin Feng. However, seeing Lin Feng adapt so quickly, Shui Yun's calm face still revealed a hint of astonishment. The slowest was Prince Yushu, who took 3 days to adapt. Unlike Lin Feng and the others, Prince Yushu relied on treasures. Don't you want to think about it? Lin Feng looked at Qi Hao. He had chatted with Qi Hao many times in the past 3 days, and they had resolved their old grudges. There was no enmity between them, and they were just on different sides. Since Qi Hao had no intention of revenge, it was better to resolve the enmity. Thank you for your kind intentions, Brother Lin. Qi Hao smiled and said, however, to join the 100 Saints Martial Hall, one needs to be at the Silver Heart Realm to enter the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. I'm afraid I can't wait that long. Brother Lin should know that this is your last chance. Lin Feng nodded. He recommended Qi Hao to join the 100 Saints Martial Hall. Although Qi Hao was interested, the timing wasn't right. You should know that even a Silver Heart rank expert would have a 90% chance of survival in the ancient Myriad World's secret realm, not to mention a Silver Core rank. Lin Feng advised tactfully. Qi Hao's strength was not even at the King realm, so it was very dangerous for him to wander in the ancient Myriad World's secret realm. Life and death are predestined. Just do your best. There was no fear on Qi Hao's face. Instead, there was a kind of anticipation and yearning. Looking at him, Lin Feng could not help but smile, just like looking at himself in the past. He was also a true martial artist. Good luck. Come back alive. Lin Feng stretched out his hand. Thank you for your kind words, Brother Lin. Qi Hao clenched his fist. They looked at each other and smiled, then separated. Everyone had their own path to walk, so Lin Feng would not force them. Back at the gathering place, Qin Qing and the other two were already prepared. Prince Yushu and Shui Yun were studying the map together, discussing the route. Just as Yu Luan Saint had said, the first region was almost completely explored. On the map, there were clear locations. There are still some hidden places in the first region that have not been completely explored. There might be treasures in the secret realms. According to the map, there are about 1,327 of them, but they are all a bit remote, Shui Yun said. If we want to explore these areas, we will have to wait until we enter the second region. Everyone, tell us, do you want to explore the first region or enter the second region directly? Shui Yun looked at everyone. Although she was the leader, she was not stubborn. Lin Feng, Qin Qing and Prince Yushu looked at each other. I think it's okay to take a detour. Explore the first region and get used to it, step by step, Prince Yushu said. Go directly to the second region. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes flashed. There is too much competition in the first region, and those hidden places that have not been completely explored are either very dangerous or strange. It will not be easy to explore. The three's eyes immediately fell on Lin Feng. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said, I agree with Qin Qing. There will only be more and more cosmic system warriors coming in. Only by exploring the second region can we maximize our team's strength. Sigh, you forget your friends when you see a girl. Prince Yushu sighed. Qin Qing's face blushed, and her beautiful eyes stared. Mr. Lin is right. We can all adapt to 1,000th of the black hole's tearing force in the second region. There are not only many secret realms there, but also many unexplored areas. Heh, so soon you're singing the husband's tune, Prince Yushu teased. Stop joking. Shui Yun nodded gently. It's decided. We will take the shortest route to the second region. Everyone agreed. On the other side of the Jade Realm, 2 saints stood tall, leading 5 martial artists, who were at the peak of the Silver Heart rank. They surrounded a young man who was wearing golden armor and a crown on his head. The aura of a saint spread out, and no one dared to get close. It was the second prince, Qin Chun. The crown prince has set off, one of the Silver Heart warriors reported. Bulsh *T crown prince. Qin Chen's eyes turned cold as he cursed. I don't know what he gave that old fart to make him the crown prince. I'm 100 times stronger than him. I'm much more capable than him. Prince, there's no need to be angry. If we want him to live, he will live. If we want him to die, he will die. A low-level saint with a yellowish face and a sharp horn on his forehead said in a harsh voice. Qin Chun gritted his teeth, and his eyes were full of killing intent. He came to me himself. Don't blame me for being ruthless. Shui Yun, 1 powerful chaos hold treasure and 2 ordinary chaos hold treasures. Qin Qing, 2 powerful chaos hold treasures and 2 ordinary chaos hold treasures. Lin Feng, 1 top-grade chaos hold treasure and 2 powerful chaos hold treasures. I don't know what ordinary chaos hold treasures are. Qin Yushu, 1 top-grade chaos hold treasure and 4 powerful chaos hold treasures. The man made of metal and stone spoke solemnly. His voice caused space to buzz and tremble, and the strength of an intermediate saint was clearly displayed. Their strength is completely disproportionate to the chaotic cavern treasures they possess. The eyes of all the warriors lit up, and they all revealed looks of greed. For mere Silver Heart rank martial artists actually possessed such a shocking amount of treasures. Brother Tai, how confident are we? The second prince, Qin Chun, asked. The middle-level saint, Tai Wan, clenched his fists and made a cracking sound. 99%. The second prince, Qin Chun, was startled, and then he laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Then what are we waiting for? Kill them all. Everyone's faces were ferocious. Chapter 1349. Lin Feng and the others are gone. Do we do it or not? Of course we will die anyway. What else can we do? Kill them. Second Prince Qin Chen wasn't the only one with crooked ideas. Fame had its advantages and disadvantages. Lin Feng, Qin Qing and Prince Yushu had all shown their faces in the Dongwang Genius competition. Especially when they were in the top 3, it was no secret how powerful they were and how many treasures they had. Shui Yun, as the chief mentor of the Dongwang Empire, was just as exposed as Lin Feng and the other 2. They are just close to the Saint Realm. What are you afraid of? Yes, they are just 4 people. We can totally crush them with our numbers. Besides, fighting on the duel field is different from a life-and-death battle. How many of them have seen blood? They are just armchair strategists. Killing them is a piece of cake. Brother Zhang, shall we go? Let's follow them and take action when we are sure. We are not the only ones eyeing this fat piece of meat. Yes, we can't let others take advantage of us. As Lin Feng and the other 3 left the Jade Realm, groups of warriors left one after another, each with their own ulterior motives. The temptation of treasures was too great, enough to make people lose their minds and take risk. Revenge? The Milky Way only had 11 eras left. Who would care? At this moment, Lin Feng and the other three were flying at a normal speed. Shui Yun was the most powerful of the four. Qin Qing was proficient in the way of light and could fly very fast. Lin Feng was the fastest in terms of body and speed. As for Prince Yushu, he had the chaotic whole treasure with him, so his speed was not worse than anyone else. Everyone, get ready. There will be battles soon. Shui Yun's voice was calm and indifferent. Prince Yushu was confused. Lin Feng and Qin Qing looked calm. In the past 3 days, they had seen all kinds of eyes in the Jade Realm. Lin Feng knew that they were greed, jealousy, and killing intent. Treasures were always related to strength. If a person had no strength but great treasures, he would be coveted by others. It's good to familiarize yourself with the battles before entering the second area. Lin Feng was no stranger to this kind of battle. He had grown up in the midst of blood and slaughter. Actual combat was the best way to increase one's strength. Later on, we will encounter powerful warriors from the Silver Warrior Kingdom, the Barbaric Kingdom, and the Extreme Evil Kingdom. Especially after we enter the second area, we will often encounter groups of saints. I agree with Sister Yun's approach. We should practice together first. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes shone. So I'm the only one who was kept in the dark. Prince Yushu looked helpless. Shui Yun glanced at him and said, "You have been adapting to the black hole's tearing force for the past 3 days, so you naturally didn't notice it. Lin Feng and Qing were the same. I only noticed it a while ago, but this wasn't my intention. It was Saint Yu Luan's intention." Everyone suddenly understood. No wonder Saint Yu Luan would bring them to the Jade Realm. Indeed, the older the wiser. There are not many saints left in the first area. Most of them are lower saints. There are very few middle saints. Even if there were. Shui Yun's voice was calm. I am confident that I can block them, so don't worry. Lin Feng smiled. Captain Shui Yun's strength was trustworthy. Her Silver Heart King ranking was enough to prove everything. Her battle strength was comparable to a middle saint. Even if he and Qin Qing joined forces, they might not be able to defeat her. We are going to fight so soon. I am not ready. Prince Yushu's face was gloomy. Shui Yun glanced at him and said, "You have the most treasures, but you are the weakest. The Milky Way super black hole has entered the second stage of its decline. Now everyone is fearless. Your identity is not only not a protective talisman, but also a disaster." I have implicated everyone, Prince Yushu said apologetically. Lin Feng smiled and said, "Actually, they treat us as prey. Why don't we treat them as prey too?" Lin Feng is right. Shui Yun nodded and said, "Other than training the teamwork and battle strength of the team, this is also a great opportunity for us to accumulate wealth. Other than Yushu, it is usually difficult for us to obtain Chaos Whole treasures, but now we have the best opportunity." At the Saint level, Cosmos crystals are no longer of much use. Only Chaos Whole treasures have true value. With the speed of Lin Feng and the other 3, ordinary Silver Heart teams could not catch up to them. Only saints could rely on spatial teleportation to catch up. This was also Shui Yun's intention. Although she had made up her mind to train the teamwork and battle strength of the team, the selection of opponents was still crucial. Silver Heart teams were almost all weaker than them. They did not have much experience value, and they did not have many treasures. Moreover, they had a lot of people. One team was not scary, but what about 10 or 100 teams? Fighting with them was purely a waste of time. After entering the second area, our opponents will all be saints, Shui Yun said. To deal with saints, the most important thing is to be able to seal spatial teleportation, or use treasures, domains, or profound intent. In short, we have to have a way to deal with them. Otherwise, we will definitely lose. If you attack, the opponent will teleport away. They will appear behind you and counterattack. How can you win like this? There were many ways to deal with this. For example, Lin Feng could be restricted by the third level of soul power, soul domain. The True Dragon Saint Power's secret techniques, True Dragon Great Illusion and Tai Chi True Dragon could also be restricted. In terms of battle strength, Lin Feng and Qin Qing were on par, but in terms of dealing with saints, Lin Feng was obviously stronger. Not only that, Lin Feng's sensing ability was the strongest among the four. In the ancient myriad world's secret realm, many technological items were useless, such as positioning compasses. Therefore, they could only rely on love affinity stones to determine each other's location. Sensing could only rely on the strength of one's soul. This was also why realm force cultivators were especially popular when forming teams in the capital of empires. Whether it was sensing hidden enemies or exploring secret realms, realm force cultivators were much stronger than martial artists. At this moment, as the four were moving quickly, Lin Feng shivered. But as Lin Feng stopped, Shui Yun and the others also stopped, following Lin Feng's lead. The four's division of labor was very clear. Hua Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and he instantly activated Hate the Heavens state. The dark demonic color in his eyes became denser, and the 7 blue battle blade in his hand condensed lightning scarlet. Shua! 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 As Lin Feng released his power, Shui Yun, Qin Qing and Prince Yushu prepared to fight at the same time. There was no need to say anything. The surrounding space rippled, and just as the figure appeared, Lin Feng's blade had already arrived with a tyrannical aura. Lightning Beast Blade Technique, Lightning Beast Claw. The swift and boundless lightning scarlet ignited Lin Feng's first battle in the ancient myriad world's secret realm. Chapter 1350. Swish! Prince Yushu's eyes widened. Chinese network. Even Shui Yun and Qin Qing were startled. They did not expect Lin Feng to be so decisive and to fight without hesitation. He didn't even see who was fighting. It was completely different from what they had expected. There was no need to mention Qin Qing even teacher Shui Yun did not have much experience in fighting to the death. The 7 empires were basically peaceful, and killing was forbidden in the star zones. Their experience came from the Milky Way Black Network, including Shui Yun. None of them had truly experienced life and death battles. No matter how realistic the Milky Way Black Network was, it was still different from reality. Real killing didn't make sense. Whoosh! Lin Feng's killing intent was shocking. It was mixed with a bit of the knife Heavenly Way, which was comparable to the power of laws. During the Dongwang Genius battle, he and Qin Qing both had the combat power of a lower-level saint. They were even close to becoming a middle-level saint. What? Huang Yushu, a lower saint who had just teleported with 10 Silver Heart martial artists, suddenly had a change in expression. A layer of khaki armor condensed on the chaotic whole profound treasure, the black stallion armor, and his defense instantly increased. However, the vigorous force still struck him heavily, and the momentum was astonishing. Bang! A crack appeared on Huang Yushu's dark stallion armor. His chest felt heavy, and he spat out blood as he was pushed back. His defense was good, but the other 10 Silver Heart warriors weren't so lucky. Whoosh! Whoosh! In the void, a wild behemoth released thunder and lightning. Streaks of cold light suddenly appeared. These Silver Heart-level martial artists, who were usually high and mighty, were directly beheaded with a single slash. They didn't even know how they died. How can this be? Huang Yushu was stunned. The pressure of death suddenly came. Huang Yushu didn't care about his injuries. He quickly retreated and was about to teleport. Suddenly, a golden light flashed and a golden dragon rose. The area around him changed. Light and shadows swirled, and streaks of saber chi surged from all directions. What was this place? While Huang Yushu was still in shock, the saber radiance had already exploded. Descending into the origin sea with the earth element of the 5 elements, his defense was indeed very strong after becoming a lower saint, but whether it was in terms of attack or combat power, they were all mediocre. Lin Feng was no weaker than a middle saint in terms of attack methods and attack power, using one's own strength to attack the enemy's strength. Lin Feng was even better. No, I don't want to die. Huang Yushu's face was twisted with shock and unwillingness. He had never thought that he would die in the first district at the hands of an unknown Silver Heart Realm martial artist. However, being restricted by the illusion and shrouded by the terrifying Thunder Blade, he had no choice at all. Boom! As the blade fell, thunder and lightning raged, and the entire illusion disappeared. Lin Feng floated in the air, and in his hand was an earthen yellow armor. Although there was a crack, it did not damage the thick energy. Was it over? This was too fast. Prince Yushu's eyes widened in shock. Shui Yun and Qin Qing Er's auras had just burst out, wanting to help Lin Feng, but they had already stopped halfway. Because the battle was already over. They did not even have the chance to make a move. According to the rules, this armor is mine. Lin Feng smiled at the three of them and threw out a few storage rings. The universe crystals in these rings, you can split the other treasures. Only with rules could there be a circle. The four of them had already made it clear that the Chaos Whole Dark Treasure would belong to whoever killed it. One person would eat the meat, the others would drink the soup, and the other treasures would be split among the other three. You can't do this, Prince Yushu mumbled. Lin Feng smiled. Then he put on the Black Stallion armor over the True Dragon armor. One was an inner armor and the other was an outer armor. Although the True Dragon armor's defense was average, it was necessary to use the True Dragon Golden Body. Although the Black Stallion armor was only an ordinary Chaos Whole Dark Treasure and could not be used together for the time being, its defense was already at the level of a lower saint. After all, it was an Earth Law treasure. Gritting her teeth, Qin Qing Er's eyes flashed and turned into stubbornness. Although she was now on the same team as Lin Feng, she still saw him as a competitor in her heart. Her defeat in the Dongwang Genius battle was still fresh in her memory. I can't lose to him again, Qin Qing thought to herself. Shui Yun looked at Lin Feng with her beautiful eyes. She was surprised and slightly happy. She nodded slightly. Maybe in terms of battle, Lin Feng is more suitable than me. With her experience and insight, she could naturally tell what Lin Feng's performance meant. This was a warrior who had been baptized by blood and slaughter. They were like flowers that grew up in a greenhouse. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was a tough and unyielding wild grass in the outside world. Sister Yun, you are too humble. I only have a little experience. Lin Feng was slightly humble. Suddenly his eyes focused and he turned around. Sister Yun, to the left. As soon as he shouted, Lin Feng attacked to the right. This time, he sensed that there were two saints. Shui Yun, who was prepared, quickly showed her strength. Strong lightning shrouded the area and roared continuously. It turned into endless lightning and fell. The violent thunder magnetic field made a sizzling sound. The power of the profound meaning was undeniable. Facing a saint, Shui Yun was not afraid. Yuru's figure had a strong power. On the other side, Prince Yushu was like a sharp knife that stabbed out. On the other side, Qin Qing and Lin Feng were fighting side by side. White lotuses bloomed and turned into endless light that shrouded the void. The heavenly way sword art, 1,000 layers of white lotus. Qin Qing who had stepped into the Silver Heart level, was not weaker than Lin Feng in terms of strength. It was just that she lacked actual combat experience. However, her unyielding character allowed her to quickly adapt to this kind of battle. With Lin Feng by her side, the two of them quickly won the battle. Lin Feng's gaze landed not far away. Shui Yun and Prince Yushu had more or less secured their victory. Although the lower saint was still stubbornly resisting, it was only a matter of time before he was defeated. Sure enough, in less than 3 moves, the lesser saint let out an unwilling roar and was struck by boundless lightning, and he died a graveless death. After 2 consecutive victories, Lin Feng and the other 3 tasted the sweetness of victory. Although they did not have a powerful chaotic whole treasure, 3 ordinary chaotic whole treasures fell into their pocket. Lin Feng and Qin Qing killed the lower saint together. Lin Feng gave the ordinary chaotic whole treasure to Qin Qing. After all, he had already taken one. The next one is yours. Qin Qing's voice was gentle and very certain. She did not like to take advantage of others, especially Lin Feng. What if it's a powerful chaotic whole treasure? Lin Feng said with a smile. He knew what Qin Qing was thinking. But now that they were on the same team, there was too much competition and hostility. It was not a good thing. It's also yours. Qin Qing did not hesitate. Looking at Qin Qing's beautiful face, Lin Feng smiled and said no more. It would take a long time to resolve her hostility. To be continued. Chapter 1351. The second prince was with Qin Chen. This time, everyone's expression was much more solemn, including the 2 saints, Tai Wu and Huang Liang. Both of them looked solemn. Dozens of teams have been killed by them these days. There are at least 30 lower-level saints among them, Tai Zun said with a cold expression. Everyone sucked in their breath. The lower saint Huang Mang's face was ashen. Although he was strong, he did not think he was stronger than the 30 lower saints. It's Shui Yun. Qin Chen gritted his teeth. She's as strong as a middle saint. Those lower saints are too stupid. They think she's easy to bully because she hasn't experienced real killing. The chief instructor of the Donghuang Empire is not to be trifled with. Huang Meng frowned. If she didn't insist on descending to the origin sea with the origin of thunder, she would be a lower saint now. Tai Wang said, "Let's wait and not act rashly." "Brother Tai, are you not sure?" Qin Chen asked. "I'm sure I can deal with Shui Yun." Tai Mu, the mid-level saint, paused and looked at Huang Liang. But Qin Qing and Lin Feng are both comparable to lower-level saints. Huang Liang alone is not enough. To be safe, I've asked my senior brother to help me. Qin Chen's eyes lit up. Tai Taishan, a middle saint? The middle saint Tai Mu nodded his head. Senior brother and I are connected through the love stone. He will be here in 2 days. He is stronger than me. With his help, we will have 100% confidence in dealing with Prince Yushu and his men. Great. That's great. Qin Chen was excited. Sister Yun can become a lower saint? Lin Feng and Qin Qing were surprised. Of course. Prince Yushu smiled. Why is my teacher named Shui Yunrum? Because she has a good understanding of the law of water. She descended to the origin sea with the origin of water, so she became a lower saint long ago. Lin Feng nodded. The pyramid of laws recognized by the lower laws made one a lower saint. Recognized by the middle laws made one a middle saint. After obtaining the recognition of the superior laws, one would become an upper saint. Wouldn't it be easier to become a lower saint and raise one's life level before cultivating the origin of thunder and gaining the recognition of the thunder law? Lin Feng was confused. It's not the same. Shui Yun shook her head lightly. Sister Yun, please tell me. Qin Qing said. When the origin sea descends for the first time, it will raise one's life level the most. At the same time, it will strengthen the body the most. Shui Yun paused for a moment and said softly, let's put it this way. It's like one is innate while the other is acquired. Although everyone's comprehension of the laws is the same, those who formed it innately have an advantage. Although I can make up for it the day after tomorrow, it will waste a lot of time, energy, spiritual fruits, and treasures. Shui Yun looked at Qin Qing and then at Lin Feng. If you only focus on the saint level, then it would be easier and more convenient for you to enter the black hole level. Many lower saints have done so. However, if we set our sights on the Saint King level, it would be best to use superior laws to obtain the recognition of the source energy. Especially you, Lin Feng. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Qin Qing and Prince Yushu also looked at him. Shui Yun's voice was calm and indifferent. Your body foundation is the most terrifying I've ever seen. It's comparable to an upper saint. Don't enter the black hole level with inferior laws. Otherwise, you will regret it in the future. Lin Feng nodded. Thank you for the reminder, Sister Yun. Lin Feng thanked her. Most people would not care about you. They would rather you take the wrong path. Lin Feng, do you plan to obtain the recognition of the law of thunder? Shui Yun asked. I don't have a plan yet, but my thunder source cultivation has reached the 6th level at most. I have the path of cloud and thunder, the path of lightning, and the path of thunderstorm. I don't have the light element, and I have the path of dark demon at the 6th level. Lin Feng said. To obtain the recognition of the origin law, one must first have the path of origin at the 7th level. Only then could one condense the 7 paths of origin and communicate with the world. But your bloodline seems to have nothing to do with the thunder element, right? After fighting side by side for the past few days, Shui Yun was not the only one familiar with Lin Feng and the other two. Lin Feng and Qin Qing were also quite familiar with each other. Only when they were familiar with each other could they form a tacit understanding and improve the team's strength. Light and darkness. Lin Feng did not hide it. Shui Yun, Qin Qing and Prince Yushu were all stunned. Prince Yushu's eyes widened. Light and darkness can coexist? I've never heard of it. Shui Yun shook her head. Qin Qing's beautiful eyes flashed. I thought your bloodline was only compatible with the dark element. Lin Feng smiled. His light path cultivation was indeed not high. Currently, he was using the path of dark demon and the heaven hatred form to strengthen the blade heavenly path. If that's the case, you'd better enter the black hole level with the path of darkness. Only then can you maximize your bloodline. A compatible bloodline will increase your strength even more. Shui Yun said. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Bloodline can be strengthened too? Shui Yun nodded. It's a process of mutual support. When you enter the black hole level for the first time and communicate with the laws of heaven and earth, you will receive a gift from the heavens. This is the only time. Every saint knows how to teleport. However, they did not comprehend it on their own. It's a gift from the heavenly path. In the universe, there are supreme rules that govern the universe. Lin Feng nodded deeply. He was still considering which path of origin to enter the black hole level. However, there was no need to think about it now. His bloodline was the body of light and darkness. Logically, he should enter the black hole level with either the great Tao of light or the great Tao of darkness. They complemented each other. According to Sister Yun, not only can I strengthen my body to the maximum and save a lot of time, but I can also strengthen my bloodline. This was what Lin Feng hoped for the most at the moment. His bloodline should not be so weak. Not to mention Shui Yun and Qin Qing even Prince Yushu's bloodline was much weaker. In the Origin Star world, bloodline accounted for a huge 20% increase in the spiritual sense distance. However, he did not even account for 5%. It was unbelievable. However, Lin Feng believed that his bloodline was not that simple. Earth was the highest level of 9-star life planet. It should be because my life seed is weak. That's why my bloodline is hidden so deeply and cannot be fully activated. However, it must be a very powerful bloodline. The terrifying figure of the black-haired giant appeared clearly in Lin Feng's mind. That was a transcendent existence that could really destroy the world. He had the same bloodline as him. In other words, his bloodline originated from him. Entering the black hole level is an excellent opportunity. With the gift from the heavenly path, I can definitely activate the bloodline that's buried deeply in my body. Lin Feng's eyes were bright and full of confidence. Activate a truly powerful bloodline. To be continued. Chapter 1352. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days passed. Chinese network, how boring. No one has come to find trouble with us, Prince Yushu joked. Almost all the saints with ulterior motives have come. Those who did not come are probably scared out of their wits, Shui Yun said calmly. Most saints would not do such a thing. At least, they would not target their own people. Thanks to them, we have gained a lot. Qin Qing smiled. A pair of wings of light appeared on her back. It was one of the Chaos Profound treasures she had obtained. Although it was an ordinary Chaos Profound treasure, it was perfect. Not only did it save her time and energy, but it also strengthened her combat strength. With this pair of falcon light wings, Qin Qing's combat strength was on par with Lin Feng's. Qin Qing was not the only one with a treasure. Prince Yushu was also compatible with an ordinary Chaotic Cavern Profound treasure. However, he already had 5 Chaotic Cavern Profound treasures, so it did not matter if he had one more. As a prince of an empire, Prince Yushu had many privileges. Shui Yun had gained the most. This was because the warriors who had attacked them were basically low-level saint. They had relied on the 5 elemental laws to enter the black hole realm. Therefore, they had the most 5 elemental treasures. All the water-type Chaos Profound treasures, be it Lin Feng or Qin Qing were exchanged with Shui Yun. 2 of them were perfectly compatible with Shui Yun, increasing her combat strength by about 50%. Shui Yun's attainments in the Tao of Water were extremely outstanding. The only one who did not gain anything was Lin Feng. He did not have many heaven and earth origins treasures. The only falcon light wings he had obtained was Lin Feng, but he could not be compatible with it. However, Qin Qing was compatible with it. Lin Feng was not stingy when he gave her a rose. He now had 19 ordinary Chaos Profound treasures, 1 more than Shui Yun and 5 more than Qin Qing. As for Prince Yushu, because he had not contributed much, he only had 7 ordinary Chaos Profound treasures. He already had 4 of them. He had gained a lot. Sister Yun, you said these ordinary Chaos Profound treasures would be useful when the time comes. What are they used for? Lin Feng asked curiously. Equivalent exchange. Shui Yun replied. There are quite a few saints who need ordinary Chaotic Cavern treasures because a saint usually only has 1 or 2 Chaotic Cavern treasures. It's far from enough. Lin Feng nodded. 1 weapon and 1 armor, the most basic of all, there were already 2. Attack type, defense type, control type, domain type, support type, special type, and so on. No one would complain about having too many good treasures. Strength was important, but treasures were also very important in battle. Treasures are also divided into different grades. Each grade is divided into 4 levels: Supreme Grade, High Grade, Middle Grade, and Low Grade. Although we've gained a lot, most of them are low-grade ordinary Chaos treasures. Only a few, like Qing's Falcon Wings and Lin Feng's Savage Force armor, are ordinary high-grade Chaos treasures. The armor that Lin Feng was wearing now had been changed long ago. The Ebony Stallion armor had been severely damaged in the battle 2 days ago, and was basically scrap. After all, it was only an ordinary low-grade Chaos Profound treasure. Normally, low-level law treasures were low-grade treasures. Only a few especially powerful treasures were rated as mid-grade treasures. High-level law treasures were high-grade treasures. Those with especially powerful power were supreme-grade treasures. Because of their different law powers, the treasure's power was different. In the second region, there's a place for trading. Among saints, the currency used is the void-swallowing origin pearl. In the ancient myriad world's secret domain, the void-swallowing origin pearl is commonly used. Shui Yun was indeed worthy of being teacher she. Void-swallowing origin pearl? Not only was Lin Feng curious, but Qin Qing and Prince Yushu were also curious. Shui Yun said indifferently, "You'll know when the time comes." Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Qin Qing pouted, "Sister Yun." Prince Yushu was furious. "Teacher, you can't keep us in suspense like this." After fighting side by side for more than 10 days, their relationship had improved greatly. Especially after going through battle after battle every day, they had gone through life and death together. Even the iceberg-like Shui Yun had become more approachable. The second prince, Qin Chen, was already prepared. They were like patient hunters, ready with their guns and waiting for their prey to reveal a flaw. The mid-level Saint Tai Chu's eyes lit up. The space in front of him shook, and a burly man as heavy as Mount Tai appeared. His upper body was covered in a layer of solid armor that emitted flames. His eyes were incomparably sharp, and his thick arms were comparable to the body of the second prince, Qin Chen. 4-star mid-level Saint Tai Taishan. Senior brother. The mid-level Saint Tai Chu cupped his hands and greeted respectfully. Both of them were from the same race, and their figures and appearances were very similar. Their voices were loud like bells, and they were as imposing as mountains. Greetings, Saint. All the Silver Heart martial artists bowed. The second prince, Qin Chen, was overjoyed. With Senior Taishan's help, this will be a piece of cake. Tai Taishan glanced coldly. I'll take 50% of the spoils. What? The second prince, Qin Chen's expression suddenly changed. Senior, this isn't good, right? Tai Taishan snorted, causing the second prince, Qin Chen's internal organs to churn. His face turned pale and he said, Who do you think you are? If you say another word, I'll kill you too. The second prince's face twitched and he was dumbfounded. However, when his gaze landed on the cold face of the intermediate saint, Tai Luo, who he had been relying on, he understood everything. In the ancient myriad world's secret territory, the identity of a prince was useless. How can this be? Seeing that even the low-level Saint Huang Mang went to flatter him, the second prince, Qin Chen, felt as if the sky had collapsed. In an instant, he felt as if he had lost everything. 1 star to 7 star? Lin Feng was deep in thought. Shui Yun nodded. It's a well-known ranking in the Milky Way Black Network. Silver Core and Silver Heart martial artists all have a ranking in the Milky Way arena. However, saints don't. Although they're all mid-level saints, their abilities can be very different. Some enter the black hole level with mid-level laws, while some become mid-level saints by comprehending low-level laws. However, their combat abilities are very different. Lin Feng nodded. After obtaining the recognition of both Yin and Yang Qi and achieving initial success in mid-level laws, one would become a mid-level saint. After obtaining the recognition of the 5 elements, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, one would become a low-level saint. After cultivating low-level laws from initial success to greater success, one would also become a mid-level saint. They were all mid-level saints, but their combat abilities were very different. 1 star is the weakest, while 7 star is the strongest, Shui Yun said. My combat ability was about that of a 2-star mid-level saint previously. With 2 ordinary chaos whole mystic treasures, I should be close to a 3-star mid-level saint now. What about me? Lin Feng was curious. Just as he was asking, Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed, and his eyes widened. He felt a chill run down his spine as he vaguely felt an extremely powerful aura approaching. Swoosh! Lin Feng instantly entered battle mode. To be continued. The novel updates quickly, there are few advertisements, and the chapters are complete. Chapter 1353. Very strong. This time, the enemy was stronger than the ones in the past 10 days. Middle-level saint. Lin Feng shouted, accompanied by the appearance of the Thunderbolt unicorn. Shui Yun and Qin Qing had a tacit understanding. The space in the distance shook violently, and suddenly, 9 auras appeared. Among them, there were 3 saint auras. This was not a sneak attack. Experienced warriors knew that spatial teleportation was not omnipotent. It was easy to go for wool and come home shorn, especially when facing opponents with outstanding senses. Lin Feng was one of them. The second prince, Qin Chen, and his group had been keeping an eye on Lin Feng and the other 3 ever since they entered the ancient myriad world's secret realm. Moreover, they did not need a sneak attack. 4-star middle-level saint Tai Taishan. 3-star middle-level saint Tai Mang. 4-star lower-level saint Huang Mang. Absolute suppression of strength. Especially Tai Taishan, a middle-level saint, who was equivalent to a 1-star upper saint. Lin Feng's group had a big gap in strength. Shui Yun, who was the strongest, was only close to a 3-star middle-level saint. However, there was no way out. In the ancient myriad world secret realm, the strength of a saint was maximized. With spatial teleportation, it was easy to chase or escape. But Lin Feng and the other three scattered like fireworks following Shui Yun's gesture. When facing an opponent who was far stronger than them, it was stupid to fight together. Even if they could not win, at least one could escape. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 against 3. Tai Taishan did not hesitate at all as he charged towards Shui Yun. The strongest should naturally hunt down the strongest. Tai Mang was faster and chased after Qin Qing who had the help of the falcon wings. As for Huang Mang, he went for Lin Feng. Second Prince Qin Chen's face was ferocious as he led 5 peak silver heart experts to attack Prince Yushu. The latter did not hesitate. His body paused for a moment before he ran away. Here they come. Lin Feng did not know these enemies, but he could sense them clearly. He knew that if he wanted to win this battle, he had to be the key. Whether it was Sister Yun, Qin Qing or even Prince Yushu, they were all at a disadvantage. Especially Qin Qing He and Qin Qing were on par with each other in terms of strength, which was equivalent to a 4-star lower-level saint or a 1-star middle-level saint. She was definitely not a match for that medium saint. Clang! Lin Feng's 7th blue battle saber was instantly ignited and exploded. Facing the arrival of the demon clan expert, Lin Feng's eyes lit up and he suddenly roared. Lin Feng fused with the nightmare's skull and maximized the dark devil form's 2nd state. After entering the ancient myriad world's secret realm, Zhang Xian had already mastered it. Taiji True Dragon. Along with the activation of the heaven-hating form, Lin Feng's Realm Force secret technique originated from his teacher, the True Dragon Monarch's powerful secret technique. The Tai Chi True Dragon was one of the methods to restrain spatial teleportation, but Lin Feng did not use it often, because the risk was too great. Whoosh! The yin and yang 8 trigrams, 1 black and 1 white, formed the image of Tai Chi in the center of the Taiji diagram. A golden dragon roared and soared into the sky. The black and white Taiji diagrams quickly extended and spun rapidly. What? Huang Mang, a 4-star lower saint, was shocked. My body! His entire body was restricted. A suction force came from below and brought him into another world. The black and white Taiji diagrams materialized and formed barriers. It was as if he had entered a sealed arena. Advanced stage. After entering the advanced stage, the Tai Chi True Dragon no longer had any auxiliary attack abilities. It continued to evolve and only had one ability left: restraint. It was like a magnet that kept him in check. It pinned Lin Feng and Huang Mang firmly on the Taiji diagram and entered close combat. The risk was too great. Therefore, Lin Feng did not use it often. This was a move that he did not have an advantage over. He only used it to prevent his opponent from escaping. But now what he needed to do was to seize the time. Not only did he need to win, but he also needed to win quickly. He needed to win faster than Captain Shui Yun and Qin Qing This was his only chance. Whoosh! Whoosh! Qin Qing beautiful figure was like a dancing butterfly. Rings of light flashed as Qin Qing changed her direction rapidly. She was already proficient in the path of light, so her speed was extremely fast. The falcon light wings gave her even more flexibility. Indeed, Tai Wang could teleport. However, Qin Qing was better when it came to small changes in direction. After entering the black hole level with the Tao of Yang, Tai Wang had extremely strong strength and defense. Although he had the speed of a middle-level saint, it was only ordinary. However, after all, he was a middle-level saint. Tai Wang knew his weakness very well. How could he not make up for it? Rise! Tai Wang directly used the power of the law. As the law of Yang lit up, a round weapon with sharp spikes in Tai Wang's hand suddenly shot into the sky. Thump! 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 Sharp spikes rained down from the sky, making it difficult for Qin Qing to dodge them. Her movements were hindered. The thousand-light marrow bloodline caused Qin Qing's movement technique to change rapidly. Suddenly, oh no! Qin Qing's beautiful face changed. The black, round, spiked containers fell to the ground, forming a formation-like restriction. Spiked barriers condensed around her, surrounding her tightly. In an instant, the range of her evasion was reduced to the limit. Boom! Tai Wang punched. The entire space shook. His fist was extremely powerful, mixed with the power of the law of Yang. His gloves flashed with pure Yang Qi, showing his combat strength as a middle-level saint. Tai Wang had two ordinary chaos dark treasures. Qin Qing's sword was stronger, and her sword moves were more powerful. However, fighting Tai Wang was very similar to fighting Lin Feng. Her cultivation level was higher, but her opponent's body was stronger. He also had the power of the law that Lin Feng did not have, which was enough to destroy a trace of her heavenly sword Dao. The power of a saint clashed. The difference in quality made Qin Qing unable to continue. Her strength was inferior to Tai Wang's, not to mention her movements were restricted. Thousand-layer white lotuses bloomed. If she cultivated to the extreme, Qin Qing might be able to fight, but she had only cultivated to the 100th layer. Bang! She could dodge once, but she could not dodge 100 or even 1,000 times. The whole space was filled with the shadows of Tai Wang's fists. They were strong and fierce, breaking the Tao with force and crushing with the power of the law. Qin Qing did not even have a chance to attack. Her white dress was instantly dyed red. Am I going to lose? A thought came to Qin Qing's mind. But in an instant, crack, crack, a majestic force came from outside, shattering the surrounding spikes. Tai Wang, who was standing like a giant stone, changed his expression, and his eyes became cold. Whoosh! A familiar male aura came. Qin Qing who was flying backward, felt her body soften and was hugged. Her heartbeat quickened. She knew who had come to save her. He had come,